Oops. Should I open the blinds? Oh man, what's going on here?
Yeah, and I had fun with that, with the AI videos and some of which you saw.
Yes.
But no,
Them in their spectacular glory, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, the point of that was really like, oh, it'd be cool if we were able to get like a Native American name. And because there are, we should look towards ancient, because we hadn't really had many, I guess we had Quebec, but like things coming from the America or North America. So, yeah, so Ushuaia. So it's a city in Argentina.
It's Ushuaia. Ushuaia. Ushuaia.
Ushuaia. Okay. Oh, Chris wants to say it. Let us let the that's it for Chief Baker man has the final word. Yes.
So yeah, I think you were at the meeting and I said Ushuaia, and I got away with it. Everyone said, yeah, that's how it's pronounced, Ushuaia.
Well, it's the king's tongue is the, what is the term? There was that city in Australia where the queen came and she mispronounced it, but then after that they actually renamed or like officially made like the actual like name or the spelling of the city whatever the queen said, because the queen's tongue is the correct one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's entirely possible something like that would happen, but yeah. No, anyway, I think it's Shaya. You can find it's on the phonetic alphabets on the Wikipedia page, which is what I was attempting to use. Anyway, it's all open to interpretation. I'm still upset it's not Upminster, because I think that Essex, if you live in the United Kingdom, the county of Essex has so many marketing towns. I thought Romford was better for R and Upminster for you. I'm joking, of course.
The Only Way is Essex.
Yeah.
That's about all I know about it. There's a show called The Only Way is Essex.
It's all true.
Well,
it's all true. All true.
Yes. And yes, derived from Saxon. Essex refers to what, East Saxon?
That's right.
Or something. Oh, okay.
So you have East Saxons, West Saxons, which became Wessex, South Saxons, which became Sussex, that's still a county, and you have Middle Saxons, and part of the area of Greater London is in Middlesex. And in fact, on Friday I'm going to the Middlesex County Cricket Club, although Middlesex doesn't exist anymore.
Well, Pennsylvania has a town called Intercourse, so
are far better. Well, where what's his name? Where Kryptonio lives in Greece is called Drama. Strangely, so he lives. His home to. So where do you live? He says Drama. It's like a
Drama.
Yeah, millennial talking.
Yeah.
Drama.
Very Greek. Things end with A's and amas, and the currency was drachma. Yes. Anyway, but yeah, so we have that upgrade, and so there are a number of advancements to the DAO. A few other things that are exciting, but they'll be on testnet, because that's part of the rollout. And like for obvious reasons, we want to get it right instead of having a grand dana. And those relate to the quantum signatures, which we discussed, or the quantum resistant proofing that we shouldn't say proofing, quantum resistant keys that we discussed last week, as well as but I think we touched on the new concept for liquid staking tokens and how it would be a canonical form of that, um, which I think it's
I
interesting.
should pause the music.
There are a lot of different questions about it, and I think there are some trade-offs with it, but also it's something that we haven't really like we haven't seen that. I really like the idea that we're going beyond um, like what they did, how they handled this on Ethereum, and to think that we can like because we can solve some of the issues. I mean, it's experimental, of course, obviously as any new thing is, but I like the idea. I like when we do things. It's like we're going to go in a step advance. We're looking at what happened here. We can see issues. We can see fragmentation, and we're going to do something better. So that's cool. Um, I think there are some questions around what that would mean for things like Stacy and STXTZ, um, but they could live alongside each other as well. So and it's good to have that variance. Um,
Test.
yeah, like a
Okay.
lot of other things. I think that I hope that it continues. Like we still have Stacy, and we actually have more things like that, so that we can continue to innovate and learn from each other and that stuff. But um, yeah, so I do want to get into what happened on with Ave, and so basically, someone. Um, there are a lot of steps to this process, but someone took what was a liquid staking token, RSETH, and they bridged it from Unichain, which is Uniswap's chain, over to Ethereum mainnet using the layer zero omnifungible token standard, which is, by the way, the same one if you go to ethereum.com and you under the bridge, when it not the canonical bridge that goes from Tezos L1 to Etherlink and back, but the other one, the one that goes from Etherlink to other chains, other EVM chains. That's the one we've been using. Um, that's the same standard. So it is a very handy and good tool that a lot of chains use and a lot of protocols use to bridge things. It's pretty universal. It's become very much it's not the only way to do it, but it is probably the widest used standard out there to get from one chain to another, to bridge from one chain to another. So this attacker, they bridged it over from Unichain over to Ethereum mainnet. But the way that this stuff is verified to say that you have this collateral, you have something on Uniswap or Unichain that you're creating a version of here on Ethereum, is that a message is sent over to Ethereum saying, yep, this stuff is here, it's in the bridge. Feel free to make the tokens over there because it's backed by this thing that's over here. And uh, it doesn't. So what the attacker did is they were able to take advantage of a certain exploit technique, because all it really takes is all they were really taking to do this was one particular message, one DVN it's called, um, and what is it? It's decentralized virtual, no, validator, I don't know, something network, yeah. And then it basically forged that message to say that it did, but it didn't actually have it on the back. So the stuff that was that like there was nothing locked in on the Unichain side, but the Ethereum mainnet side believed that it was, and so these fraudulent counterfeit bridged tokens were created. And then that person took those bridged RSETH tokens and put them as collateral on Aave and borrowed against that with Ethereum, ETH mainnet Ethereum. Okay. And so they had that, a lot of it, hundreds of millions of dollars worth. And then they were able to, and some of it they sent to Arbitrum and they bridged over to there. The rest, I think, stayed on Ethereum mainnet. Um, and so, and what happened after that was interesting, because Arbitrum took an interesting step, and this is a whole discussion in itself. But they actually, uh, whoever's in charge, however their governance works, um, I forget the names and the acronyms of things, but they decided to freeze that ETH, that person's account of what they had there, or their assets that were related to this. And that's an interesting step to take, because a lot of people say, okay, it's really good that they did that, because that is going to go back to the people that he basically stole from, and assuming it's a man, that they essentially stole from, and like that's going to help the recovery efforts so much, because it was a lot of it. I think it was like $70 million worth, like a huge chunk of what they took. And then but then others are like, well, that's not right. Like, why should it be them to intervene and freeze someone's account? Like, that's not decentralization and all that stuff. But if you're Arbitrum, and if you think of the way that Arbitrum, as in EVML2, the way they compete, it's very much about DeFi. It's very much about responsible, like institutional grade DeFi. So if you are an institution and you're thinking about like who to trust and what you want to work with, that might not be so bad, even though it seems contradictory, because if you're a financial institution, you probably don't like, someone intervening on things that you do. You want the permissionless structure. You don't like regulation. I mean, that's what you always hear. But in this case, it's like, oh, well, good. That's more safe. That makes probably regulators feel better. That makes, if I were to interact with this, it would make my shareholders feel a lot better. It would let all these people who put money in my fund feel a lot better. Great. It's good that they do that. It's good for their branding. It kind of reminds me of when, like, kind of the opposite, when Apple refused to cooperate with the FBI to like to let them get into that terrorist's iMessage. Um, the guy from San Bernardino some number of years ago, and they were very proud of this, Apple, and it did bode well for their credibility in that regard. Like, hey, you can really trust Apple to keep your stuff private, because even if a terrorist, you know, has these messages, and the FBI is saying you need to give us the access, they're going to say no. Good. I like Apple. Going to keep my stuff safe, which is probably good for their branding, because they're also they're a giant, and you would think that, oh, well, this big American company would probably cooperate with the American government. It's like, but oh, they didn't, and it's not what you necessarily expected. Um, so
Sorry. I know you love Apple, and so do I. But they've cooperated with the UK government on taking out encryption on iCloud, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And
you can.
anything that is served through your device as a notification is no longer safe.
Well, that also goes to show how like marketing can work that way too. You set the tone with one big grand event, you publicize it so much, you're very proud of it, and then you quietly do other stuff which maybe contradicts that, but people already have a certain other impression of you. That happens too.
It's true.
Yeah.
The double speak. The most hated dialect, at least in my bones. Yes.
Indubitably. So, but the other thing is about the security of these standards as well. It's like, wow, we all relied on layer 0, and then now layer 0 is saying, okay, make sure that you have one DVN for your bridging. Make sure you have a lot of them, and make sure it's decentralized, like in that way. Like, the more you have, the better, and that kind of thing. Like, that's true, but it's also like, maybe this whole if that could be forged, multiple could also be forged. It takes more coordination, but I mean, given the amount of money someone could potentially take, I mean, that incentivizes a lot more complicated, work in that regard. I'll get to that, but here's the other thing. So to make up, so now there's like a hole in the amount of money that is being used, that in the ETH pool on Aave, and that's limiting a lot of functions that a lot of users rely on. It's such an anchor to all of DeFi that this is a really, really big pain point. It's not an isolated thing. It affects so many other things, which reiterates what I keep saying, which is lending is the engine of all of DeFi, and really the overall, all these blockchain economies. But so there's now this movement, or I don't know who came up with the name, but it's between Arbitrum and Aave, and they call it DeFi United, in which they've gotten these different foundations donating, and different companies donating ETH to help make up for the loss, and then other governance proposals on these different chains, if they have decentralized governance, if they want to give funds over to support this effort so they can make up for the deficit. I think they have, uh, of the 100 something thousand ETH that was taken, there's about 16 or 18,000 ETH left that they need to fill. So getting pretty close. But of course, it's takes time. Um, so I think that's a cool thing that there is this effort where everyone realizes the importance of, okay, we have to get this going. It's not just out of the goodness of their hearts. I mean, everyone benefits from this, so it's probably much more to the advantage of a lot of these foundations that Aave get up and running quickly, like or those limiting features stop being limited quickly, than to have that delayed. It's going to be bad for them otherwise. Um, but yeah, so that's an issue. Avi does, you know, I mean, so the blame is like going all around. It's like, whose fault is this really? Some people blame, like, Kelp DAO, even though it's not really their fault. Like the staking provider that these tokens originated from, like their name is probably associated with it more closely than anything else. Others would blame uh, Uniswap and saying, well, you guys should have been more secure because the message was forged to say it came from you. Others blame Aave because like all this stuff was collateralized and they didn't actually have any true verification that these assets were backed by something. Others blame Layer Zero, even though their process has always been very transparent about what it is and like how security works. Um, and but also like even with all of this stuff is on chain and open source, and you can see how people can do things and where the risks are, and um, something like this was always a possibility we could have imagined, and yet we all trusted that things were working smoothly, as is the case with a lot of these complex associated uh, DeFi operations. And I think it comes down to that sort of false equivalency of, like, when we start saying, well, all of this is a risk. There's always smart contract risk. And then like we just think it's all like all risks are therefore equal. And so if we see a lot of people doing something, it's like, well, it must be safe enough that it's the kind of measured risk that we should be doing. But then when something like this happens, it's like, how could they have been so stupid? Why would they have taken this thing that's RS ETH that had only one DVN verifying its messages, that was a bridged version of it, to get hundreds of millions of dollars of actual mainnet ETH? What are you thinking? Um, yeah, it looks really flimsy in hindsight, but it did go on for a long time without those concerns. I would say though that Aave does take more risks than other lending platforms. Just having, you know, built one of these things and researched the various ways of doing it, Aave has prioritized growth more than security. That's just very clear. They've had more exploits than anyone else, and it's not just because they're the biggest. It's because like they do a lot of things that are other lending platforms they don't do, like flash loans are a very, very risky thing to do. Aave has done it since always. They're going to keep doing it. But exploits are found, like they average one every like 8 to 10 months with that, with their flash loan system. But it when it works right, it's a great thing to have. It's a wonderful piece of technology. It's very important, and it's very important in helping grow DeFi in these economies as a consequence. But it's a very dangerous thing. You're basically letting people borrow money that's without collateral per se, under the programmatic assumption that it'll come right back within the next block with profit for everyone. And yeah, most of the time it works fine, except when it doesn't. Um, so yeah,
Mhm.
that's an issue.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's another layer of it too, that most people understand the concept of decentralization in their own unique way. Like full decentralization is the void of space, and like where nothing touches. But where those connections meet, we have to make sure that A, they're secure, B, that people are informed about risk and risk management and connections, and how they may be able to interface with that. And of course, not your keys, not your crypto. all of those things we like to rhyme off every once in a while. And do your own research, because it is complex and not everybody has like a maths degree or an engineering degree. But the communication of all of those layers and how they interface with one another is important. And having people in the room that may be like, what about this? Oh, I never thought about it that way. That might be a vulnerability that we can take care of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or even AI agents constantly monitoring this stuff and saying, "Hey, here's a vulnerability. Why is there just one DVN, passing these messages to say that all these funds were properly collateralized?" Um, like some, we could be able to, and automating security, of course, is in itself a security risk, but um, there's so much that
Yeah.
could have been. Well, but here's the thing: going
Mhm.
back to Tezos, like this is something where we can imagine. Um, the having a canonical uh, liquid staking token could have prevented this, not directly, but if it's here, what's going on now is that there are so many different liquid staking tokens. Like you have your own staking provider, and you make a DAO with it, and then you make your own liquid staking token with its own funny name with ETH in it, and then and now Aave takes all these different liquid staking tokens. So being able to keep track of all their different patterns and all of their different bridgings and all of their security, it does add a lot of cognitive stress, as well as just technical stress to be able to watch and monitor and care for all of these things. Whereas if you had a unified standard, um, then we wouldn't like, and it's fungible within one another, between one another. It would just be, in this case, S Tez. um, then we could say, okay, let's get the security for this right. If we're bridging it in different places, make sure that we have proper validation for it, and that we properly reinforced. Let's overcompensate for possible exploitation, so that it just can't be done. Let's do this, um, and then you can prevent this. You can much better prevent this kind of stuff from happening. That's I think the fragmentation definitely had a role here, because you can't keep track of everything. So many of these things. I actually didn't even know about RSETH. I mean, I knew of others, but uh, like that's a different one, and there will always be more. And if they get big enough, then it's like Aave is like, sure, come on board. We can use you as collateral, and you can borrow ETH against it. Why not? You're big, aren't you? It's, that's not the way they do it. So yeah, that's the reason for it. Other things about so with I remember with it's a canonical liquid staking token. That's what ETH is, or sorry, STEZ is meant to be. The testnet of it will go live with the Ushaya upgrade, and yeah, so we can all try it out. I remember before there were conversations about back when some people know CTES, which is the um, like the liquid delegating token, I guess we could call it that, in which if you delegated your TES, back when that was the only kind of option, um, that you'd lock it up, you would get CTES out of it, and then that would be you would be able to earn rewards, but also you had this fungible, movable, transferable, spendable token, um, that would you know you'd be able to use all over Tezos for different things, and that would be used as, and so people didn't have to think about like, well, should I leave my Tez in my wallet? But then if I do, if I spend it, or I put it somewhere else, or if I lock it up as a liquidity provider in DeFi, then I'm not going to be able to get those delegation rewards. So that's what that was, and it didn't, and you could use whatever baking service to delegate to, but there was a common pool where they would all come together, and it was fine. Like that was, but the issue with doing that with staking early on that was considered was that, well, the problem is there's a risk when you delegate stuff, and let's say that the baker double bakes, you don't get penalized as a delegator. But if you're staking, that is a risk that could happen. If the baker you're staking with double bakes, and that's an issue, you could get slashed. And then if we have a consolidated liquid staking token, that's problematic because like that cuts into the overall pool, and the value of that liquid staking token would go down because it's backed by much less collateral effectively than it was before. It's not the case with CTES because the delegators don't get penalized, but it is the case when it comes to staking. So part of the way this is going to be done is that it's not every baker will be participating. There will be standards for like what a baker who would qualify to be a baker of this system um, to be. And so there are some requirements on that. Uh, so you have to have good performance history, of course. You couldn't have appeared out of nowhere. Um, and there's certain size requirements and all that. I mean, I'm sure, of course, it'll be expanded later, but I think if the incentives are aligned enough, I mean, this could be a way in which bakers do become more competitive in trying to advance their own service and leverage the reputability of their service for something they could do that's better. Which is, I think that's been the idea also behind liquid staking tokens in general. But here's a way in which it could be done in a more unified, consolidated manner. Um, One thing it does undercut, though, is perhaps the individual identities of the bakers, which is something that is front and center when you have individualized liquid staking tokens, because you do stamp your own uh, like DAO or validator, whatever your brand is, on it. Like, and it can all work together. You have the validation service, you have the DAO, and you have the token. Like, it's a way of actually making a little ecosystem environment out of that thing. So that does get more removed from the process, and you have like a general thing over it. So different stuff, different things to consider, and that's also why I think we can think of Stacy as something that could be able to stay. Um, and on that risk, I mean, where if let's say stays something happened with, we know they're a good baker, they're not gonna double bake ever, but let's just say hypothetically it happened, then yeah, the underlying value of that STXTZ would be slashed, and that would just be like everyone would suffer from it. The whole thing would collapse on that basis. But if it's a lot of different bakers, then it diversifies the risk, so it only part of it gets loses value, and then we can figure out what to do to maybe make up for that, or um, maybe it's permanently lower in value. You don't know, or it'll get diluted like over time. Um, so different ways of valuing risk. Um, no, we'll see how it goes. So I'll do the test net on it, make sure it's. Of course, we'll facilitate it on Tezfin and all those things. But that's good, and it's also good that we're creating and focusing also more on native Tezos assets that will build value and can be exported, exportable Tezos assets that can bring the intrigue and demand and participation and liquidity from the outside world further and further upstream to the core of Tezos, that anchor of Tezos. These Michelson runtimes, as TezosX will continue to roll out to the full vision. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll also be helpful to have the public participants of Tezos, like not the like the dev side of Tezos, but like the average person to crash course everything and provide feedback. But it would take a lot of like explainers being prepared in advance, I would say. And if there's anybody to do that labor, of course. But I think being able to test everything with the participants who are like actively engaged in wanting the success of Tezos and having that passion there and wanting to explore something new. I think that will be helpful because that will make a better product.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to even what I was talking about last week with the. I haven't published it yet. I'll publish it either today or tomorrow. It's done. It can probably go out now. It'll be on Agora about on-chain governance, and because on-chain governance really is the like if you ask any of the OGs and everything and why people got into Tezos, it really comes down to the on-chain governance because it's also why Tezos has been so resilient over time because other blockchains their governance is either centralized, like it's a company that's running it, or a foundation that does it, or maybe just a founding team, um, or it's just very kind of like not a very consolidated type of governance system in which your decentralized governance, like as it's um, like said to you is the fact that you are able to fork something if you don't like it. Like you can fork this whole blockchain and make your own if you don't like the way things are going. It's like, well, that's not really democratized. That's like separatism. That's like condoned separatism. It doesn't really um, make any sense. It just leads to increasingly centralized, small, fragmented parties. But on Tezos, we say, well, no, how about every time we do an upgrade, it's proposed from the decentralized ecosystem, from the validators, from the bakers, and any baker can submit an upgrade, the whole code that would be the upgrade to do it. And then we go through the process of qualifying it as a community. So other bakers, they go through it, they see what proposals they want. It goes through a larger process of validating that through phases that a full quorum is able to say yes, this is the thing we want. Let's advance this forward. It goes through testing and then a further approval to finalize it before. So we know it's not just what we want, but it's also safe. And and it's not a rubber stamp. There are times where we have healthy rejections of a proposal at any phase in the process, and that can teach us a number of things. Sometimes, it's because okay, this part needs to be reworked. Let's go back and do it. Sometimes it's because uh, people just didn't agree with the overall direction, and then some adjustments maybe needed to be made, or people wanted to see an
Maybe
alternative
I
on the ballot
should
for one specific aspect. Or, and I think this is very interesting. I remember the time when
fix my hair
I
a
believe it was
little.
Oxford
Just a
upgrade that
little.
we went all the way to the end, the proposal,
I have
the
no
promotion
idea what
phase, which
Kevin is talking about, by the way.
something that got to that last phase before this point
He
never
gets
failed
in the
to
weeds
get the
of
final vote
things.
to go to adoption. But this time it did. And it's very interesting why it did, because what it actually showed was a lot of bakers were starting to question and feel, whether they said it in this way or not, it was the case had really been made for something that was of a larger change to the protocol, that they started to think, well, maybe this really affects us. And so that time allowed them to reflect on it. And it's like they had this sort of redemption period to say, wait, hold on. And when the next upgrade came, we started the process again, it was essentially the same thing. Um, but what happened was the improvement was on the side of the education, and so we learned as a community, and core development learned, and this is all very healthy. That we can't get complacent with the idea of just put it out there and then it'll get voted on. You know, and that'll be that. It's like, no, no, no. People need to be onboarded. People need to be educated. They need to be engaged on this process. And what this showed, it wasn't a failure of technology. It wasn't even a failure of even the feature, because the feature did pass. It was just a failure of education and making sure everyone was aligned. And so, and I think that was an unexpected way in which on-chain governance served us um, in sort of these soft factors that aren't necessarily considered or weren't necessarily considered in the designing of the process. But it's really cool that it happened, um, which is also why one of the
Gotta
reasons
refill.
when a
Water my
proposal, or
plants.
I don't know if you want to call it a proposal, was put out there on Agora talking about different changes to on-chain governance that were being suggested. One of those changes was to, oh, let's shorten the process because we don't need all of these stages. Like, oh, if they're going to vote on it in the exploration phase, they're just going to vote on it on the promotion phase. And it's like, no, because that's not necessarily true. And we have a historical reason for that. And it turns out it actually matters. So, like it's also good that we get to learn from the history now that we have, 20 different upgrades to learn from, and each of them taught us something else that we can improve the process of on-chain governance itself. And I think that's a really great thing. And we have over time. There have been different changes, but I do think, what was I originally talking about? Oh yeah, Mal. So a participation. Yeah, you're on that participation. So I think the direction on what I was writing about is we need to improve on-chain governance in a manner in which partly we need to think about what it means to increase participation in on-chain governance, because I think that is what excites people who come to Tezos, people who are new bakers, to feel a very engaged community in which they have feel a sense of ownership in, and they are a legislator, in as much as they would in a government. And I think so. Advancing on that level, I think, is very useful.
Kevin. So I've
Mhm.
just had to, for a project I'm doing outside of day job, I've just gone through all the protocols from Athens all the way through to Tallinn, and I'm reliving some of the things you're talking about. Me and Herman had a session yesterday looking at it. I've got an interesting idea, and I'm not saying it's happening because every time I say things, people think they're happening, which which they're not. What about discuss? Question mark. What about stakers having a vote as well as bakers? What do you think about that?
I think it like definitely there should be like, ever since the beginning people were talking about like, well, what if delegators had a vote? And it's like, we're like, oh, that wouldn't really work because of this and that. And um but then it's like, well,
Oh,
stakers is a
hang on.
different kind of commitment, but
They've
staking
got
is new.
they've got skin in the game, right? They have
They
skin
do.
in the game. So
Yeah,
yeah, could
but
they
it's
have a bit of a
Mhm.
passive.
vote?
Yeah,
Not as much, maybe not as powerful as a baker, but perhaps they're
yeah,
contributing somehow.
It
I
could
think.
possibly be fragmented into like vote by scale based on qualifiers. Like if you're hitting a certain threshold with the amount that you're staking, and like the larger amounts, you get a little bit more weight based on that. You can calculate that and however you like. Um, I think that'd be interesting because then that would engage the community to discuss it openly and be more involved with that process and starting to understand some of the terminology and the direction elements where if people have the opportunity to participate and even make suggestions, like pool in ideas, like if you have enough staked, you're able to then provide a suggestion for something to incorporate as a layer of a new proposal for an upgrade in the future. And that gives you an opportunity to help direct prioritization so that it's not so focused in one particular direction, but may also expand outwardly into the broader community, particularly within the artist side of things, because I feel like a lot of the decision making, most of the artistic community feels more as an observer, and they find out a lot about this stuff after the fact because it has to trickle down in translation a lot of the time as to what's happening. And we rely on folks who actively do this often within the public, like folks like, Kevin or Baking Bad, and Zero and others to like articulate what the changes are actually going to be. So if there is a way for folks to contribute, if they're meeting a particular type of threshold, like there could be multiple different types of qualifiers that can be thrown in there to show like prolonged interest and capacity and be able to put forth those ideas that may guide the chain in a way that actually serves them in and is comprehended by the general participants in the ecosystem.
Yeah. So like if a staker had, let's say for every one Tez staked, they got a baking right, but a baker staking one Tez got double, say just
Right.
because you want the baker to have more. I think you want the baker to have more rights because they're spending the time on the infrastructure. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting idea to get a bit more participation. I mean, we're kicking around some ideas at the moment. A couple of us. This is not a work thing. This is outside, community stuff. But how do you get a little tribe going around Tezos?
Yeah.
Um,
I think of it in like two possibilities. Like one would be that, and I think that's good because also if you are a staker and you see your votes going into the system, and it's like, oh well, if I do, go into baking and I become a baker, well then, the same amount of Tez I have will be worth twice as much in the vote. Maybe I should do that. Like it is a good stepping stone that naturally encourages people to escalate their commitment. I think another way is, a lot of different bakers in the past I've seen like tried ways of taking their own delegation and trying to democratize it in that way. So some of them had Telegram groups, and then they'd run a poll like, should we vote yes or no on this, or or which of these proposals should we go with, and that got more or less participation, but a way in which they could, maybe a canonical way in which a baker could opt to have a system, and they could keep it the way they've been doing it, where they decide and that's that, and their stakers and delegators trust them to make the choice, sure. But others could like turn on a system in which it's like, no, 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 you have the vote, and it'll work more like an electoral college situation where, whichever way the majority votes, that's the way I'll vote as a baker, and that'll represent you. So it is democratized, but tiered in that regard. Um, like that electoral college system we have in the U.S., which has its trade-offs, to say the least. Yeah, many ways of doing it. It's interesting, though.
there are many ways to skin a cat, as we say.
Yes, or to vote on Tezos upgrades. Mhm. But yeah,
Indeed.
we need yeah, I think it's the participatory nature of the upgrades themselves that needs to be increased. So and one of those things is, and this comes up a lot, and anyone who's ever put in a proposal brings this up too, because we've all encountered the same frustration, which is you basically, like, even if it's a one small change, it's one thing and does not speak for the overall 99.999% of the proposal, which is the same. You have to put in a whole different proposal, and you have to compete with the stock proposal and get the majority of votes, and that is like such a disproportional challenge, and technical
Mm.
Well,
responsibility
I think the
that goes
biggest
This
towards.
is
Mhm.
the biggest challenge there. Sorry, I'm cutting people off here. I think the biggest challenge there is you've got to have your code correct because
Yep.
you've got to do a hash of it, right? So you've got to have a lot of prep up front to get that thing. And Vincent, who runs TechRow, has spent quite a lot of time on this problem. I think he has solved some of it. But yeah, that is true. There's no doubt. Now, I don't think we get enough different proposals at the moment for this to be the biggest problem on the plate. But
Right, but that's the thing.
it's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
We have to also consider, especially with all this stuff about advancing on-chain governance, is to not like conflate the cause with the effect. Because if we look at participation as it is now, then it would be like, well, is there any reason to advance it anymore? And then we'll drift into the direction of making it smaller and smaller. But is it the fact that we have the system as it is now that has precluded so many others that would be participating in on-chain governance, um, and that's why we're not having it. Um, like there's because
Well,
it's simpler to just be like, well, that's the status quo is how but like that's where demand is. It's like, no, no, this is the time when this is what induces demand for on-chain governance, maybe more than anything. That end.
I feel really guilty now because having proposed the staker thing, I'm the chairman of a residents association, and a couple of the couple of the residents came up to me the other week and said, we've got all these problems. And one of them was a renter and not an owner. And I informed them that they didn't have a vote. Oh, now I feel guilty. Maybe if they were staking in a modern proof of stake blockchain, I'd have given them a vote.
Yeah.
I feel like there is also an avenue for some of the conflicts that I'm seeing. Well, not conflicts, but like as you mentioned earlier, it's like the healthy rejections, but also like the speed at which proposals could go through. If we were to segment different elements that have different tasking within a proposal into individual quadrants, and during the voting process, you could more or less like tick a box, be like pass, pass, yes, no, and decide based on each element as it's broken down. And then ones that don't meet quorum are then shifted and reworked until the next time around, where then it can be added, and then if it's meeting everybody's expectations and needs, then it's able to be passed through. Where instead of it all being as one giant block, and then that, like, there's one element within it that, you know, say there's like a security need for an upgrade, and within that same proposal is something that nobody is agreeing on. We're not sacrificing the moment to change something for security purposes because of that hesitancy based on the other elements in the proposal. So if it is segmented and then you're able to check it off like a checklist, and vote accordingly based on each segment, I feel like that may speed things up and make it more efficient and still keep that participation layer, like the active participation layer, in play, and provide more room for more unique ideas to come into the fold. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many ways I like to tier discussion and proposals for upgrades outside of, I think, the full, like, it's such a zero sum game right now. Um, but to encourage more participation, likewise, yeah, we need to have a way in which it's like it can start off much lower stakes. It doesn't have to be so high stakes every time, and then it can graduate through, some placement of like, okay, this is obviously something people want, and then on that level, even core developers that are what we call as the people who are charged with those tasks of our the stock upgrades that come every cycle, that they would take it up. And it is so much more motivating when you see that there is like this soft consensus behind it to want to build something, as opposed to if it's just an idea out there and you don't know if it's necessarily validated or not. But um, if we can just show that like some level of there is support for this idea, maybe it's not the right idea, but there is support for it, and it's worth trying in some way. Um, but like either one can't code it themselves, or maybe now they, or they could do it with, um, you know, Codex or one of these, or Claude Code or one of these things, or those that are at these core development firms can say, well, let me take it up and do it. We'll do it together, and I think that's a cohesion that's
Yeah.
also been missing, because it's too much like, here are our ideas, here's the blog post as to what we want to do. It's good. There was a time when it wasn't really so much this, but it's like, what do you think? And then feedback comes in, and then that can lead to changes. That's a good thing. That's been happening. It wasn't always consistently in that way. There was a time when it was more like, here's what it is, let's move on to the next thing. So, to their credit, it has gotten more democratized. But there are definite fundamental changes that I think can get us
All
to a
right, I
much
gotta
greater level.
go. Some of them will probably trickle in. Might take a few minutes. Oh, I should pay attention to the chat just in case. AI bots help keep the chat alive and help you grow your audience fast. God, I hope not. That would be the saddest thing. Oh, he's starting.
Hola, hola. Hello. Checking.
Hello.
Loud and clear. Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Nice to see everyone.
Everybody on time.
Yeah, wow. There's another spaces going on in hosted by Kevin. So
Yeah.
maybe if they wrap up, probably people will start trickling in, I'm guessing.
Okay, anyways, we are, Stroke is going to share some music. So we can give us like 3 minutes to share the space. Okay, so I'm going to close my mic.
Okay.
And enjoy. This is Ernesto Cisneros music. Enjoy, and please.
Oh no. Oh. Yeah. False start. It happens. Nice.
This had to happen.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. It happens all the time, even by...
It had to happen. It wouldn't be X, you know?
Yep. So, okay. Round 2.
I'm not sure if it was... Yeah. Now we do have to share this space.
Yes. Yeah, for real. Okay. Hold on. I will do that.
Okay. Let's give me a chance to give co-host to Uni and to Stroke. This is so funny. Okay, add a speaker. Can you hear me now, girls? Yes? No? Uni, hi.
How's it going? Yes, when I entered the other space, it said the host was having technical issues, so I'm not sure if it had to do with that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This happens. So, okay.
No
Stroke,
worries.
speak. Stroke driven.
I am not able to multitask right now. I busted my behind earlier, but I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll figure it out. Just let me know which. Do you want me to play from the jump?
Yeah. Again, And here we go again. I am going to change the title of the space. Take two. Ryan is still wrapping up in the other space, so we are going to hi Lex. We're going to listen to Ernesto Cisneros music. Meanwhile, we're going to share the space because nobody knows this
Yes,
is
we will do.
okay.
This
We'll
is
be
sorry. Before you, this is gonna be for Spanish speaking.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're do a dynamic like.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah. No, you don't worry because Juni and Stroke they're going to ask you in English, and I am going to translate to Spanish.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah. Hi. This
Yeah.
is new to me too. So okay, great.
You immediately see how the dynamic is. It's yes. It's just that we like it's better if you like do it like answer like by not too long parts, so I can translate like, and we will go like this. It's fun. Just enjoy. Hello Dakota. Hello. Everybody's joining. We're going to listen Ernesto Cisneros music and share the room. We rocked, so we yeah, we have to share. Thank you. Go ahead, please, Strokey.
Oh man. I'm gonna bathroom real quick. These headphones cover up my bed hair pretty nicely.
Even the music is not working.
It's this site. Don't worry about it.
No,
They mess with the sound. I know, in a weird way.
right? But this was what today.
Hey, but it sounded good, even with the, yeah. No, and
Okay.
Ernesto's great, you know.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you had the chance to
I definitely have some of his works. Yeah, collected some of his works over the years. So enjoy his music very much, you know.
yeah, you have to listen to his latest work.
Okay. Okay, I will. Yeah, I will.
Okay. Just you want to try again, Stroke? Hola, Jax. Hello, everybody that's joining. Just a couple of seconds, please. I really want to share, because this space is meant to be for Spanish speakers to know a bit more about teia, what used to be Hikenon. And this is, you know, right? It's very important for us because we all started on Hikenon years ago.
Yep. And
Many of
yeah, I
almost
just met someone yesterday that used to be like a OG Hickendunk artist, and he kind of took a break, right? But he still says, yeah, he has good, fond memories of those times, you know. So yeah, and I think it's important for us to kind of revisit where a lot of this started from, because it really didn't start in the West, you know. It started in Brazil.
In Brazil. And you know something that Uni here, she also is friends of many Brazilians, and she speaks a little bit of Portuguese. So we were chatting that if she, perhaps she can say at least a hello to the Brazilian community.
Okay.
No, Uni, what do you think about that?
Of course, of course. I have spent the last like 8 years trying to be a part of that community, in the space and out of it. And I think there's so many incredible artists coming out of Brazil. So of course, I would love to,
I
to
hear
also
a lot of, even outside of crypto. Sorry.
no worries.
Finish. No. I just wanted to say I hear a lot of cool things coming out of that country, even outside of crypto. So that's all.
Yes. So of course, if there's anyone in that space, bem-vindos para a comunidade. Hoje vamos falar com Ryan da comunidade da Teia e queremos que vocês se sintam em casa. Então, novamente, bem-vindos.
Great. So, hola a todos, bienvenidos. Hello everybody. Nos rugueamos, nos caímos, no suena la música, suena como las patadas de mal. Ex está jugando en nuestras trastadas el día de hoy, pero no importa, acá seguiremos. Bueno, voy a empezar a dar la introducción. La intención de hacer este space, que va a ser en inglés y español. This space is going to be Ryan speaking in English and translated to Spanish. La intención es para quienes que no comprenden bien el inglés, para todos en realidad, pero sobre todo para un poco hacer un recap de la historia de Teia, y para compartir los cambios, las novedades, las actualizaciones de la comunidad Teia y de teia.art, que es la plataforma. Entonces les damos la bienvenida, les pedimos un poco de apoyo en compartir el space en sus grupos. De todas maneras, esto vamos a empezar en un ratito y va a quedar grabado para quienes no puedan asistir ahora. Seguramente se van a ir incorporando algunos. Pero bueno, la idea es pasar un rato bonito y conversar con Ryan. Strokey, te invito por favor que me traduzcas mientras que yo sigo sobre todo a Ryan, lo que acabo de decir, para poder seguir invitando un segundo.
So just to briefly translate that. So we're here to interview yourself, Ryan Tanaka, over in regards to teia.art, the platform, and the Teia community. And we invite you all to repost the space. If you have anything that you'd like to post or share with us, post it in the comments. But for now, we're just gonna wait for a few of us to join us. The space is recorded, but any comments that you'd like to share with us, do that in the space. And the speech bubble located on the bottom right-hand corner of the space. And welcome all.
Should I post the links I sent earlier?
What do you shared with me right now? I can do it for you.
Okay.
I have them here. Yes.
Okay. I'll try to keep it short because I have a tendency to ramble sometimes, So, but we have we have to translate, and so we try to keep it short and take our time, And but I really appreciate everything.
I am going to stop you.
Yes, stop me.
I will stop you. I will say, Ryan, okay. Wait a minute.
That's enough. Okay, I appreciate. Yeah, great. Do that.
We are not serious people. It's kind of impossible for us to be serious people. We ramble a lot. We laugh in the middle. So
sure,
it's just.
I like to think we are serious, but we have a lot to say, and
yeah.
But I think this is really important, what we're doing right now. So appreciate it.
Yes, it is. There, while Stroke and Uni, we got together yesterday and the day before, chatting about how to handle the space and reviewing Teia, remembering those 2021 days and talking about some things we already heard, we already know, but we're not sure about. We ourselves are very curious. We think it's amazing how the community survives and the things that how do you say this? Las cosas que han logrado, what you have achieved until now, and the things that are coming for everybody. So this is very important. So I think we can start already. What do you think, guys? People will be coming in little by little. Great. They say yes.
Okay. And I'll be recorded too, right? So they can.
Yes, it will be recorded, and I do know many people, many friends go and listen. So yes. So bueno, bienvenidos a los que se han juntado acá a acompañarnos aquí al Space. Vamos a empezar a entrevistar a Ryan Tanaka, que es pilar de la comunidad Teia, quienes tienen también a su cargo la plataforma teia.art. Este Space es para todos ustedes, un poco para hacer un recuento de la historia y para informarnos de los avances y los cambios muy importantes y muy interesantes también, y de beneficio para para todos los artistas, toda la comunidad en general. Así que bueno, vamos a invitar a Ryan que nos cuente un poquito sobre la historia, sobre de dónde viene Teia. So Ryan, tell us please, where does Teia teia community comes from? How does this start? The beginnings. Tell us a little bit about this story, please.
So I think most people here are aware of Hikinunk, right? Because a lot of the people here came for that. And then, but in about around 2000, the late 2021, late 2022, Hikinunk shut down. And teia is basically, because the code that was out there, that was put up by Rafael Lima, right? And the code itself was open source, and people really wanted this thing to continue. So teia is basically the community, the result of the community coming together and reviving the Hikinunk contract. And we actually, right now, we're actually still using the same contract from back then. So if you mint on teia right now, you'll notice that your artwork will show up on the Hikinunk collection, so to speak. So, yeah.
Let me try. Entonces, teia viene, muchos de ustedes deben saber de lo que fue Hikinunk, que es una agrupación y una plataforma que se formó a partir de artistas de la comunidad de Tezos al finales del 2021. Cerró y teia heredó. En realidad, o sea, there was a change of name, right? By the same community, right?
Yep. So I'll explain a little bit how our organization works because...
The second. Entonces, bueno, en realidad, o sea, esto fue un open source propuesto y que hasta el día de hoy ese contrato, o sea, sigue funcionando. Y es por esto que cuando ustedes mintean hasta ahora en la plataforma de teia.art, van a ver que las obras pasan a ser parte de una colección llamada Ensh. Go ahead, please, Ryan.
Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, because even the way we named ourselves was done through voting. So there was several different. There's we're gonna revive Hikinunk, and what should we name it? And even the name itself was voted on by the community. And so teia is, I believe, web in Portuguese, and that people felt that works for us. And then so from the beginning, everything was run by the community. And so even now, we run everything through multi-sig DAO, which is basically a voting mechanism. And we have a total of 21 members from all over the world that keeps this organization running. And there's nothing...
Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you,
yes,
Ryan,
please.
just a second. to tell about the name. And I think Stroke Driven has a question for you about that precisely.
Yeah. Please stop me, because I will go on and on and on and on forever. You've seen it. You've heard it before.
So,
Yeah.
We are under control.
Okay. Good. This can
power.
work. This can work. Yeah. So please.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. One thing before we go on. I am live streaming this, by the way. So it's going, so this Spaces is going.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Oh,
yeah.
Hi, Oblicos. Oblicos is this, by the way.
It's wonderful. Hi. People are going to see it.
Yeah.
Have fun here. So, entonces, permíteme, Strokey. Entonces, para completar esto, poquito sobre la breve historia de Teia al respecto del nombre. Ryan comentaba que inclusive el nombre, que las decisiones son tomadas por la comunidad. En este caso, o sea, se hizo una votación para cambiar el nombre. Nos cuenta que el nombre Teia aparentemente fueron propuestos varios nombres y el nombre Teia aparentemente viene del portugués que significa web. Qué lindo, no lo sabía, me parece hermosísimo. Me gusta más todavía ahora. Yo voté por Teia. Y eso, o sea, que es muy bonito además el hecho de que hacen partícipe a la comunidad en la comunidad general, ¿no? No estamos hablando solamente de la comunidad, o sea, los que están activos, digamos, en la organización, sino todos los artistas, toda persona que mintee en Teia es parte de la comunidad. Stroke, por favor, adelante.
Yes. And you're going to translate the response, correct me?
Voy a Ryan, give me a second to translate before you answer, Stroke, please.
Okay.
To translate the question so the people will know what
Okay. Got it.
asking. Okay, Stroke.
So, Ryan, can you please tell us how Teia currently operates as a community? And most importantly, who makes up the team behind it?
Okay. I'm gonna translate.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
you just said. Okay. Well, yes. I'm waiting.
Give me a second. Stroke acaba de preguntar. Le pregunta a Ryan Stroke. Le pide que por favor nos cuente cómo se conforma la comunidad, quiénes conforman el equipo, digamos, ¿no? Y de qué manera se estructura, se maneja. Okay, right.
Okay. Yeah. So, I was kind of like getting into it earlier, but yeah. So there's about right now, like I said, there's the Teia community, which is about 2,500 people or so. Those are the wallets that were active during the Hikitnunk and Teia days, and people who count as members of. We count them by the teia tokens that we have given out a few years ago. So these members have teia tokens that are used for governance. So basically, we registered Teia itself as a nonprofit in the Marshall Islands. And so we have a legal standing in the United States as a legit nonprofit. And the way it works is that we set it up in a way where people who hold these tokens actually count as operating members of the nonprofit itself. So the members are the boss, basically. Like, there's about 20 of us, like I said, the core team members that are from all over the world. Like, we have Jovi, who's from China. We have me and Mao, who she's in Canada. I'm in the States. Have Merchant from Germany, Europe. Ruradil, I think he's in South America. He doesn't talk about himself very much, So sometimes it's hard to tell. Some people, we have no idea where they are, So we have people, from all over the world, and there's about 20 of us like running the day-to-day things, and we call ourselves the multi-sig core team, right? But nothing really gets done because we have like it's not run by one person because we have to vote on everything, especially the big decisions. So, but at the end of the day, the members are our boss. So I know that's a lot of information, but
Yeah. Let me translate
the easy way to say it. The easiest way to say it is that we are an artist-owned community. So that's the short version. Yeah.
I like that. Artist-owned community. But I can do this.
Okay.
Entonces, ¿cómo se conforma teia, o sea, ex hic actualmente o desde siempre? Bueno, lo que se hizo tiempo atrás es que se repartieron 500 teia tokens, ¿no? Entre los miembros activos, todos los que estaban en ese momento, que eran 500 en un principio, ¿no? Cuando era this is when this was Hickenon, still Hickenon, right?
No, this is something that came after. So
okay.
We're using the contract.
Entonces Ok, cuando pasa de Hickenon a ser en teia, lo que obviamente se mantiene la comunidad, pero se mantiene el contrato, ¿no? A lo que se mencionó antes, hasta el día de hoy se usa el contrato de Hen. Entonces, eran 500 personas las que estaban miembros, los que estaban activos en ese momento. Entonces se repartieron lo que son teia tokens. Y todos los que tienen estos, que son parte de esto, pasan a ser el sistema de gobernanza de la comunidad teia, ¿no? Se inscribió esta comunidad en las Islas Marshall, ¿no? Y bueno, no es que todos estén tan activos actualmente, sino que se conformó, me hace acordar un poco a la historia de Gea Galerías, para los que saben un poco de eso, que teníamos una mesa de 7, pues ellos tienen una mesa de 20, que son los que realmente manejan, ¿no? Y todas las decisiones son tomadas de mutuo acuerdo por votación, ¿no? Algunos están en Canadá, en varias partes del mundo, y bueno, Brian hace el comentario gracioso de que inclusive hay algunos que ni siquiera saben dónde están, pero son parte de la comunidad. Pero bueno, esto es lo lindo de esto, que es realmente un sistema de gobernanza de votación conjunta, ¿no? Okay, Ryan, go ahead, please. Si me perdí algo,
that sounds good to me. I don't know. I'm like, I sympathize, because like when I translate things into Japanese, sometimes it's really hard. Like, because this stuff doesn't even make sense in English. Okay, like half the time.
Well, it's kind of technical. It's
it's hard, but I appreciate you trying.
This is interpretation. This is not literal translation, but we try to focus on the main points.
And clean up my messy language too, while you're at it.
No, you're doing good. Doing just.
But but we are an artist-owned community, and that is like for real, like both legally and technically, we are an artist-owned community. And we can say that like without being shy about it, because we are doing it the proper way, and that's what makes teia. That's why I love it so much, we're doing it.
Yes. Esto es muy importante porque, bueno, como lo dice Ryan, ¿no? O sea, es una comunidad, pero es una comunidad legal, escrita legalmente, y las cosas se hacen, o sea, de la manera correcta, ¿no? O sea, bajo la legalidad. Y bueno, comenta que esto es lo que él más ama de esta comunidad. Very interesting. I did not know that part of the story.
Yeah, we put a lot of effort into this, and it took a long time. And it's not something, it's like pretty boring things. It's just filing paperwork, getting a legal standing. But we're kind of known for wanting things to do the proper way, right? And that's what kept us alive for all these years, even though we had very, very little money. So, yeah, and I'm very proud, to be part of this community, because the people that I work with in Teia, they're very serious about what they do. They're serious about their art. They're serious about the tech. We're serious about doing things the right way. And we are all artists ourselves, at least most of us. And so we're here, to really protect the needs and the rights of the artists in ways that don't really happen much, everywhere else. So, yeah, and so this is kind of why it's so important that we're talking right now, because we're trying to get the word out.
Yes, this is good. This is really good. Bueno, comenta que están muy orgullosos y que todos los miembros activos, tanto de la organización como los que están alrededor, ¿no? O sea, pendientes, ¿no? Esta es viene a ser como una insignia, ¿no? Un orgullo de la comunidad, el ser así, el querer que las cosas se hagan de manera legal y justa, porque precisamente, y bueno, y al ser también muchos, o sea, artistas, porque es una comunidad básicamente de artistas, ¿no? También developers, ¿no? La pretensión es de cuidar, o sea, la plataforma, de cuidar de que todo esté dado de manera correcta, de cuidar los derechos de los artistas, las obras de arte, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, esa es también la importancia de poder contarles esto y de que se transmita cómo son las cosas en Teia, ¿no? Yeah, something else you would like to say about that, or can we pass to June if she wants to ask you something?
Yeah, no questions. If you have any questions, please let us know, because this is part of. We really well. I will say this before we move on, is that I really, and I'm not, I really believe like the non-Western worlds is what is going to help the industry grow in the next phases of its evolution, because for one, right, Hickey started in Brazil, right, and a lot of the things like crypto was really built for things like originally before there was NFTs. It was really, the use case was to help people who are unbanked, right? That basically means like people who are having trouble getting access to the financial systems that a lot of us in the West take for granted. And it has really like a lot of applications outside of Wall Street and, all those things that basically took over the space in the last couple of years. And so now that the market's struggling again, I really do think that the next spark is going to come out of places like this. And and so that's the reason why we are doing some outreach right now. And I do think because we are owned by the artists, not by a startup or Silicon Valley or Wall Street or anything, something can happen here, something very important, you know? And so, yeah, so just preface everything. Yeah, and I'd love to talk about the details next, but that's kind of where I'm coming from right now.
Ok. Bueno, Ryan también comenta esto un poco sobre la importancia de mantener esto, ¿no? Un grupo dentro del sistema general, de la industria en general, que es el de los artistas. Hace un poco un recap en analogía a cómo comenzó en cripto, ¿no? La necesidad de todo un sector no bancarizado, ¿no? Que se ve ajustado precisamente por la banca y por las grandes industrias, ¿no? Entonces, de ahí también la importancia de conservar esta comunidad, este espacio, ¿no? En el sentido de los beneficios e intereses para los artistas. Por favor, Stroke, Juni, yo estoy parafraseando en realidad, porque es un poco difícil traducir literalmente esto, pero si quisieran acotar algo al respecto, Juni, te veía esto, quisiera que me apoyas con tu comentario.
Sí, una parte que sí escuché, que es parte de lo que estabas diciendo ahorita, es esa parte sobre el uso de la descentralización, ¿no? Entonces, él mencionó que una cosa que nosotros que vivimos en el West, ayúdame ahí, en el oeste, una cosa que no agradecemos es que tenemos cuentas bancarias. Se nos olvida que hay personas que no tienen acceso, que hay usos para esto que se nos olvida porque estamos tan acostumbrados a tenerlo que tiene unos usos que son muy, muy importantes para muchas personas.
Así es. Yes. Shall we pass
We can go to next.
We were going to make a round of questions, but Arehum is already here, and I really want to
Sure.
hear. Arehum is an important part of our community, and always have good thoughts and always.
Just tell me what to do.
Ya. Le voy a pedir a Stroke que traduzca la pregunta de Arregium. Arregium, hola, bienvenido.
Hola,
¿qué
mi
tal?
retratito, Stroke, Juni.
Qué gusto
Hola,
tener.
Ryan Tanaka. Muchas gracias por todo, por el espacio.
Hello.
Y vamos a tener de preguntas al final de la entrevista, pero realmente queremos darte el pase para que tú no te... si has subido, yo en lo personal sé que es porque no quieres que se te vaya una pregunta para Ryan, o sea que adelante.
Sí, una pregunta. Bueno, muchas gracias por el espacio. Como muchos amigos de acá, artistas, hemos estado aquí desde Hikenung, así que es importante también escuchar el testimonio y la historia que hemos escuchado hoy, así que muchas gracias por eso. Y tengo una pregunta a propósito también de lo que Ryan señalaba con respecto a la importancia de cripto, ¿no? Como una alternativa a la banca, que llevando eso al arte, podríamos preguntarnos como una alternativa al mercado del arte tradicional, ¿no? Creo que es un punto clave, porque las comunidades, el fervor creativo, lo tenemos siempre, ¿no? El deseo de vincularnos, pero algo está sucediendo o ha sucedido con el mercado del criptoarte que conocimos desde el 2021 a la fecha, que ha cambiado, si es que no está con signos de desaparecer, ¿no? Entonces, quiero preguntarle cómo ve él el futuro en ese sentido en relación a su experiencia. ¿Qué piensa que puede quizás seguir aportando desde Teia y desde la blockchain a este mercado alternativo de arte que ha favorecido a tantos artistas alrededor del mundo?
I would love to translate all that, pero me, te
Okay.
toca, Wayuni, porque, uf.
Que me la pone difícil. Esto. Yo. Ya, vamos, es que estoy pensando. Okay, Ryan. Our team says hello, and first of all, and thank you very much for attending this space and for letting us know more about Teia. He has a question.
Okay.
He says like you mentioned, like crypto is an alternative to banking, and he says art is an alternative to here art, digital art, or let's say crypto art, an alternative to traditional markets. So how do you see the future in relation to your experience here, and what can Teia contribute for the future for the artists and the future of crypto art?
Oh, just going right at it, huh? Okay.
Did you understand?
No. That's
Yeah,
a very good
that's
question. Yeah.
allow me to just say this in Spanish. Se alegra Ryan porque justamente iba a ir hacia eso. Entonces, bienvenida la pregunta. So go ahead, please, Ryan.
Okay. No, I mean that is like a very good question, because it's really at the core of why we exist, you know? Unlike other platforms, and this includes Object as well, we are completely decentralized, you know? I mean, like, we're not a startup. We don't get we're not funded by any of like a traditional organization, and so we're kind of this strange community that just is kind of floating in the blockchain somewhere, right? Like, I'm even like surprised constantly that we still exist, because you know, when you show like how our community works to people who are used to working in a big corporation, or, you know, more structured environments, it's like, wow, how does that come together, you know? But, you know, the way to see it is that we are an open source community. So all of our work that we do goes to everyone, right? All of the code that gets pushed goes into our repository where everyone can use. The art itself is floating on the blockchain, right? And it's one of the, if not only place in the NFT world where the art itself exists in this neutral ground, right? And that's something that doesn't really happen there. Like, if you look at what happened to like Foundation, you know, Rarible, even a lot of those big you know, those big name NFT platforms, a lot of them, there's been issues about like who owns what, right? It's not really open to everyone. So the idea is that from this, what do you call, foundation that we have, we can build a lot of cool things that would actually help out artists in a very tangible way. So one thing that we already have is a copyright registration system. So you can register your artwork and attach to it, like, okay, if you are an owner of this NFT, you can use it to make sales or put it on a t-shirt, and so on and so forth.
Sorry for you, but I really need to cut you because I'm not going to be able to do
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have it here, and I love it. I have it, everything. Do you know, Ryan, believe it or not, with my weird English, I am a medical interpreter.
I know you're very smart. Okay, you're not.
So
I know
right
this.
now, I my medical interpreter technique.
Okay.
To grab everything. I'm like.
Yeah. No. It's hard because there's a lot of information, and it's hard to condense it. But yeah.
Even when a woman is in the in the ER giving birth, I have to ask the nurse to make a pause to translate.
Okay. Understand.
Okay. Just a second. And also I think really what you had just said is a lot to answer Rahim, and I would like to wait a little bit for the other part of your answer, because I think
you should condense it, maybe.
Stroke has no, because what we're about to say is very important, but I think Stroke has a for you in just some minutes.
Okay.
But let's say this. Entonces, para responderte brevemente, parafraseando a Regio, voy a darte como la primera parte de la respuesta, porque además es bastante conciso e interesante de escuchar. Porque vamos a permitirle, Stroke tiene una pregunta para Ryan, que viene en un momento para completar la respuesta. Entonces, lo que Ryan nos dice es que lo que te agradece por la pregunta, considera que es muy importante y que precisamente eso es como el corazón de la existencia de la comunidad teia. Al contrario de otros marketplaces, teia es descentralizado. No es una empresa, no se sustenta por un fondo, ¿no? No fondo, sino un financiamiento. No tiene un financiamiento que le llega a la comunidad, digamos, continuamente para poder existir, ¿no? Tiene su estructura, ¿no? Está basado en la comunidad, ¿no? Y lo que es en sí es un open source comunitario. O sea, al decir comunitario me refiero a que es un open source que es dado, existe para la comunidad, como todo lo que se hace. Hay un código abierto que está ahí. El arte está también, él usa esta palabra floating, pero quiere decir que el arte existe en la nube, ¿no? Todo en un sentido transparente a través del contrato, ¿no? Del código. Hay una base neutral, ¿no? Un piso neutral, ¿no? Basado precisamente en lo que ya comentamos antes, que es este sistema de gobernanza. Puede sonar que esté redundando en lo que yo estoy interpretando y en lo que él mismo dice, pero en realidad es un reforzamiento de esta idea, ¿no? De cómo funciona teia, ¿no? Pone como por ejemplo los últimos sucesos de otras plataformas, ¿no? Que al final, al ser, digamos, centralizadas o tener propietarios, ¿no? el artista, la comunidad, se queda cuando hay sucesos, digamos, que quiebran la viabilidad, ¿no? El artista se queda sin saber qué es lo que pasa, ¿no? ¿Qué es lo que pasa con sus obras? A quién le pertenece qué, ¿no? Em, y entonces, bueno, esta es la intención de todo lo que se hace es en función del artista. Y bueno, aquí va a empezar yo un pie ya, pero se los voy a dejar de adelanto porque menciona que Teia cuenta con un sistema de registro de copyright, pero lo voy a dejar ahí en 3 puntos. I'm going to buy stroke driven, I think. No, or who's his name?
It's me.
Oh,
It's me.
oh, estamos bien organizados nosotros acá. Tenemos así una lista de preguntas acá, las chicas, así. Tun, tun, tun. A Regino, espero que eso haya contestado y que se me haya dejado entender también, porque pero aquí viene la segunda parte de tu de la respuesta. No, en un ratito. Vamos con Juni. Juni, go ahead, please. You want to ask Ryan something?
I do. I have my own question for you, Ryan.
Okay.
So when it comes to teia.art, as a platform, what is teia.art as an NFT art platform, and how does it work? What is the process for minting a piece, and what benefits does it offer artists?
Okay, so yeah, that actually is.
Please, sorry.
Sorry, I forgot.
Say the question in Spanish. Sí.
Yes.
Bueno, Juni le acaba de preguntar cuando se trata específicamente de teia.art, ¿no? ¿Qué cosa es? ¿De qué se trata la plataforma? ¿Y qué beneficios da para el artista? Go ahead, Ryan, please.
Okay, yeah, this time I forgot. So, that's a good question because it kind of ties into what I was talking earlier, which is that, so teia.art is, that's the site that is currently run by the multi-sig team. So, we all chip in a little bit into making the thing run. And like I said, we are a nonprofit and we're all, this is all done on a volunteer basis, but all of the code out there is open source. So in case something were to happen, it'll be really, really easy to bring it back up, And so that's what makes it decentralized. So anyone can do it. It just so happens to be us right now. You want to translate that before I go on to the next point?
Yeah, you got it, Ryan. That's the way.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm getting better.
Oh, yeah.
Short
bursts. It's like we warm up.
Okay. Yes.
But my expertise is listening. It's not that good, so I want to repeat, please. You mentioned non-profit. What?
Non-profit? Oh. Well, we're open source. So I just wanted to say that the teia.art site itself is open source. And and I just wanted to say, we are decentralized because all the code is out there. Yeah. What you're seeing right now as teia.art, that happens to be our version of it, right?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to know what the name of the multi-seed.
The team, the core team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay, entonces en principio, teia.art es la plataforma en sí, ¿no? Para mintear el arte. Quienes manejan la plataforma lo hacen ad honorem, ¿no? No perciben un salario, no es un trabajo, sino son los mismos de la comunidad. Y se hace esto a través del código abierto, ¿no? que está expuesto para que cualquiera lo vea y también modifique si es que fuera necesario. Esto lo menciona porque si hubiera algún error, alguna falla, cualquiera puede intervenir en el código. Estamos hablando obviamente de la comunidad, ¿no? No cualquier persona que venga de la calle. Es un decir. Y darle solución, ¿no? Rápidamente. Entonces hay un trabajo conjunto. Okay, Ryan.
Okay, and then I'll answer the second part of the question, like what are the benefits, right? So that is actually one benefit, because unlike privately owned platforms, you probably don't have to worry about your NFTs disappearing like we've been seeing recently, right? Because they're open source, the code will always be there, and then therefore your art will likely always be there as well. So that's one benefit. You can go, if you're interested in minting on Teia, you can just go to our site and then click on the mint page. And it shouldn't be that much different from everyone else, you know. At least the process is pretty similar everywhere. But the things, the big benefits, I would say, that are current, we're going to be pushing a lot of changes in the next couple months. So we're going to be including on-chain messaging. So you will be able to directly communicate between each other, between artists and collector, or artists, or basically anyone, directly through the blockchain. And so this is very important, especially for, like, for example, we have a Voices of Iran project that has been going on. And as you know, we kind of went into a war, right, in the last few months, and we lost contact with a lot of the artists there that we were keeping, we were communicating through social media, and they suddenly disappeared. So we really believe like something like this is very important. And this kind of goes back to the earlier days of crypto, where this, we need to really treat this technology as an alternative to what we currently have, which is becoming increasingly unreliable, And so, I could talk about more features that we're adding, but that is really the main thrust of what we're trying to do with Teia, because we want to be that alternative when like the status quo fails, and we take that very, very seriously, like at our community.
Great. Let me translate until then. Okay. Bueno, el principal beneficio es lo que ya se ha mencionado, ¿no? O sea, el que el open source, el código esté ahí para los artistas, para la comunidad, ¿no? El hecho de que no tengan que preocuparse de que los NFTs desaparezcan, ¿no? Yendo a cosas más prácticas en cuanto al minteo, pues eso es un proceso muy similar al resto de las plataformas y bastante sencillo, ¿no? Se vienen cambios muy pronto, en los siguientes meses. Uno de los tantos es que va a haber un sistema de mensajería on-chain directamente en la plataforma, y esto va a permitir que pueda haber una comunicación de artista a artista, de artista coleccionista, ¿no? Mediante la blockchain. Esto lo va a especificar, lo va a expandir un poco en un momento Ryan, ¿no? Esto es una de las cosas que justamente estábamos comentando entre nosotros que nos interesa saber, ¿no? Sobre las novedades. Pero bueno, un poco comentar que el interés también de hacer estos cambios y de hacer una incidencia en la comunicación es un poco queriendo volver a los principios de la cripto, ¿no? Cuando las pretensiones eran usar la tecnología como una alternativa, digamos, ¿no? A, al sistema global, ¿no? Pone como ejemplo, por ejemplo, pone un ejemplo de lo que está pasando en Irán en este momento, en el que debido a la guerra, ¿no? A la pérdida de comunicaciones por su situación, pierden el contacto a través del de las redes sociales. Entonces ellos creen, ¿no? O sea, apuestan por una alternativa que se la brinde la blockchain, ¿no? Cosa que es muy, muy interesante. Thank you, Ryan, about that. Is there something else that you would like to talk about specifically about the platform, teia.art? Or we can pass, I think, Stroke has...
yeah. Just really quick, so the next features we are building, and this is already on the roadmap, but the messaging, like I said, we are also adding a wiki page that is it's governed by the blockchain. Like, so, you know, on a typical site, you have an admin, right, to manage the website or whatever. We are tying that directly into the blockchain. And then also we're going to include a community calendar as well, and it's something like I really like to encourage people to use once it's out, because it's going to be, yeah, it's a calendar for everyone, you know, everyone in the world. So it'd be great to get some of the people here using it. So.
Okay, I am going to pass the mic. Hi, Lex. Welcome. Just give me a second, please. I would like to ask Stroke to translate that to you. But before, I think you're kind of asking what she wants to know. So perhaps she can complete her question and translate what you just. Thank you, Strokey. Go ahead.
Okay, so we understand that Teia recently received a grant from the Tezos Foundation. Congrats on that again, by the way. Now, could you tell us and the audience a little bit more about that, and how Teia plans to use this grant? And for the audience, of course, how can someone apply with a community-led project, and what are the main eligibility requirements?
Okay, great. You gonna translate?
Sí, me estoy enredando porque ya llega la hora en la que uno se enreda. Pero bueno, Ryan previamente esto comentó sobre un poco sobre, para terminar lo que se viene, una wiki page, ¿no? Que va a estar bajo la gobernanza de la misma blockchain. Y no por un administrador único como suele darse en los casos comunes, cosa que es muy interesante. También comenta que se viene un calendario, ¿no? Y bueno, otras cosas que se van a ir viendo en el transcurso de estos meses, así que los invitamos a estar súper atentos. De todas maneras, quiero hacer un paréntesis aquí para mencionar que arriba hemos dejado un par de posts donde ellos ya van comentando, la comunidad va comentando ya respecto de estos avances y precisamente de lo que está preguntando Stroke ahora, que es que hemos sabido que ha recibido recientemente un premio, un pequeño fondo, Teia. Es algo particular, como mencionó antes Ryan, no es que la comunidad reciba esto permanentemente, no, la comunidad se autogestiona, ¿no? O sea, de manera voluntaria, pero este es un premio, un fondo especial particular que recientemente ha recibido. Así que Ryan nos va a contar de qué se trata. Go ahead, please, Ryan.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the grant now. And so this was a very long project that we been working on over the past year. And there's a little bit of backstory is that this is the first time the Tezos Foundation has given us money. And the reason why it took so long is because we're decentralized. Because they were like, we would love to give you money, but who do we talk to? Oh, they don't know. So we spent the last year or so. Oh,
sorry. Just translate that.
Oh yeah, you should. You should. It's funny.
So funny. I think it's like the
yeah,
like the open for what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Bueno, recientemente voy a comentar solamente el pie de lo que va a decir porque es muy curioso y para que presten atención. Recientemente han recibido este financiamiento, ¿no? Que viene de parte de Tezos Foundation. Es un fondo por el que están detrás, por el cual la comunidad teia está persiguiendo desde hace mucho tiempo. Y ustedes se pueden imaginar cuánto, ¿no? Y que nunca se los han dado, precisamente porque la comunidad es descentralizada, ¿no? Y la fundación, sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but it's so funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, it is. Pero la fundación les decía, bueno, pero ¿a quién estamos hablando? Era como que un poco querían que haya una cabeza. Y le ha sido muy difícil, muy, muy difícil a la comunidad poder hacer entender que esto es descentralización. En fin, continúa Ryan con la historia.
So anyway, we figured it out. We finally got the money, and they gave us a total of $30,000 to put on events around the world, either virtual or real life events. And and basically this is a grant given to the teia community for teia members to try to promote our community out there. So that's the basic idea of the grant, and so it's a bit complicated because we have to run everything through a vote, right? So the way it works is that
allow me sorry.
Translate?
Yes, I need to.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of missing the information.
Yeah, this is important information. So
yeah. I don't want the details of this one.
Okay.
Thank you. So, entonces, finalmente consiguieron el dinero, el financiamiento que se le da a la Fundación Teia. Ha dado $30,000 norteamericanos, americanos, disculpe, para que sean destinados a eventos alrededor del mundo, tanto virtuales o lo que se llama IRL, ¿no? O sea, en el mundo físico. Esta subvención, este financiamiento se le da a los miembros de teia con el propósito de que promocionen la teia, la comunidad en sí. Go ahead, please, Ryan.
Okay. So, like said, this is for events for teia. This is not for personal projects, just to be clear. we have to split this money among many people and many proposals. So, we want to set the expectation that this is a small grant for, maybe it'll help you out a little bit, but it's probably not going to pay for like a full-blown, event. So these are small grants kind of designed to help out artists who want to put on an event in their local area. And that can be anywhere, really. And like I said, it's either real, it can be in real life or in virtual. But you will have to find a multi-sig core member to sponsor your proposal. So, so how it's going to work is that one of the core team members is going to put the proposal in our multi-sig because that's where the money is currently staying. And so you need to get 10 out of 21 votes to approve it in order to get the funds in your wallet. That's the gist of how it works. So in order to make this process a little easier, we have put up a...
Sorry,
yeah,
right. I'm going to interrupt you to translate,
okay.
And I will retake the conversation from one point. So I'll ask you to repeat
Sure.
some parts. Okay. Vamos por partes, como dicen por ahí. Entonces, uy, me perdí. Allá, ok. Entonces, lo que la comunidad ha decidido es repartir este premio, o sea, lo que los miembros, digamos, organizadores de la... ¿Cómo se llama? El team, digamos, ¿no? El equipo, vamos con eso. Lo que el equipo ha decidido es repartir esto a cualquier miembro de la comunidad, cualquier artista, a través de un formulario, el que precisamente está arriba, ¿no? Con las especificaciones, ¿no? Para que postule un evento en su localidad. Este evento puede ser virtual o de manera física. No es como se está dividiendo, tampoco es un financiamiento tan grande, pero lo están dividiendo entre varios. No es que sea un apoyo que están brindando a los artistas, o sea, muy grande, pero es como algo que, o sea, no te va a financiar todo un evento gigante, pero está dirigido a cosas más pequeñas, y de todas maneras el artista tiene que avalar, digamos, la presentación de su proyecto, y tiene que tener también previamente por lo menos un sponsor que ya de su localidad, que apoye a su proyecto. Sí, Stroke, Juni, por favor, me confirman si he dicho alguna cosa rara o voy bien.
Vas bien.
Sí, pues creo que la parte más grande es que pues el grant no va a ser para proyectos personales, ¿no? Entonces,
sí.
Era para, pienso que quedó en claro que el dinero era entre muchas personas y muchas propuestas. Entonces, lo que le entendí era que quería establecer la expectativa de que, esta subvención pequeña puede ayudar poco, pero probablemente no va a cubrir un evento completo, no de gran escala.
Sí, es importante recalcar que no es para proyectos personales, ¿no? Sino que tiene, y esto es porque es una prerrogativa de la misma Fundación Tezos, que es quien ha dado el premio con el propósito de promocionar, promover teia, ¿no? O el arte en teia. Entonces, bueno, seguimos. Okay, Ryan, could you read that from that part of the amount of boats?
Boats?
Yes, like
Votes, yeah. So
BOT.
yeah, so everything we do at teia has to be voted on. So in order to get it approved, even the money is locked up in the vote. So in order to get the funding for what you're looking for, you need to at least convince at least 10 people out of the multi-sig. And yeah, and so that's kind of how it works. What the sponsor is there, they're there to help you put together the proposal so that by the time we vote on it, it will go very smoothly. You know, we're hoping that we can approve everything that comes by, but yeah, so, but you know, if there's something, you know, there's some issues with the way it's arranged or maybe the budget, you know, because we don't really have a lot of money, you know, to be frank, like, so we have to be very, very smart about the way that we, you know, allocate these things. And you want things to be fair, you know. If nothing else, like, that's kind of what teia is known for, you know. We are very fair with how we deal with things. But what I wanted to say was that so the process of putting together a proposal, we wanted to simplify it for a lot of people. And so that link I sent you earlier, that has the form that you can start looking at. And so it'll give you a better idea of like what the proposal should include. And
okay.
Yeah.
Allow me to translate. Ok, entonces continuamos. Para ser aprobado, digamos, esta presentación de proyecto de los artistas a este grant a este financiamiento que ya lo da la comunidad de teia, ¿no? Este pequeño, tiene que ser, tienen que tener previamente, esto ya lo mencionamos, o sea, ya un sponsor, su proyecto. Y tienen que convencer, digamos, el proyecto en sí tiene que convencer al menos 10 de los miembros, o sea, de lo que vendría a ser la junta, ¿no? ¿Cuál es la palabra para esto? Sí, bueno, es una especie de multifirma, ¿no? La que se hace. Y inclusive, o sea, el premio digamos, los montos a repartir ya están asignados, digamos, o sea, previamente en la blockchain, ¿no? Entonces, para ser depositados en la billetera del artista que propone el proyecto, tienen que haber convencido al menos a 10, porque la intención es que realmente se haga, digamos, justicia, ¿no? O sea, que sea bien revisado el proyecto, que sea bien lógico en tanto las intenciones y coherente en tanto las intenciones de la comunidad de teia, ¿no? Que eso es una vez más lo que siempre busca, ¿no? Que todo sea transparente y justo para la misma comunidad. Sí, right. Something else, Ryan?
Oh well, yeah, but
Los links, sorry, los links la explicación de los detalles, ¿no? Y el formulario, o sea, a través del formulario en los links posteados arriba, que está el de Ryan y también está el de Malicious Ship, que también es parte de los organizadores. Ahí está el formulario y dentro del formulario pueden ver obviamente las especificaciones, los requerimientos específicos, el procedimiento para conseguir este financiamiento. Hey, Ryan.
Okay. Yeah, now that we're talking about this, honestly, I feel like, are any of you interested in becoming a member? Because I'm thinking that we do have a few Spanish speakers on our team, but you guys are so looped in, and a lot of the team members already know you folks. So just something to consider. Okay, just throwing that out there because I'm thinking like, okay, if someone from I don't know, Brazil applies, and then I'm going to have to translate it. And it would help a lot if we had a connection to.
We will think about
it. It is some work, though, as you probably can think, But
it is work.
It is work, but
we know.
But yeah, anyway, that's kind of, so that's the process in a nutshell. And if you are interested in hosting an event, we're happy to work with you. And I want to just say that while the amount right now isn't that much, this is the first time we've ever gotten money from like a proper place, right, so to speak. So we're seeing it as just kind of an experiment. And if it works out well, maybe things could become better. Maybe we'll get more next time. Who knows? But we can promise that if you get accepted, we will at least, you'll get the support from the teia community and the people from the Tezos Foundation regarding like promotions. We will help market your event. We'll help get the word out there for your artworks. And, it kind of depends on what you're doing. But right now, that I would say that's the biggest benefit. And you'll be able to, use the logos, and sometimes like, oh, my project is being sponsored by the foundation. Wow, and it can help give some credibility among some circles if that's what you're looking for. So.
Okay, wonderful. Entonces, esta es la primera vez que la comunidad teia recibe un fondo de este tipo y algo significante, ¿no? No es realmente mucho en el sentido de que no se puede repartir cantidades grandes a muchos participantes, ¿no? Muchos artistas. Pero es también como un experimento, ¿no? En el que se está viendo, ¿no? O sea, por primera vez está de cómo gestionar estas dinámicas y con miras a futuro a la posibilidad de poder acrecentar esto, ¿no? Por otro lado, si el proyecto es aceptado, ¿no? Obviamente van a tener todo el apoyo tanto de teia como de la Fundación Tezos, ¿no? Y van a tener apoyo, digamos, de publicitario, digamos, ¿no? De compartir, de promocionar, ¿no? El evento. La forma de esta promoción va a depender de cómo sea el proyecto, ¿no? la forma de apoyo que se le va a dar individualmente a cada proyecto aceptado va a estar relacionado al formato del proyecto. Y obviamente pueden hacer también uso de los logotipos, ¿no? Todo lo que les dé una ayuda, ¿no? A darle, ¿cómo se dice? No solamente importancia, ¿no? Sino que se certifique, ¿no? O sea, sí, no me viene la palabra, pero ya me vendrá. ¿Sí? ¿Algo que quieran decir, Uni, Stroke? Ryan, something else about this topic I would really like to, Lex is there, he has a question, I would
Sure.
like to...
That's about it, yeah.
Entonces, eso sería todo en relación a este evento, ¿no? A esta... presenten sus proyectos si los tienen, desarrollenlos, y si no, bueno, sigan y si quieren, si pueden, apoyen. Vamos a ir con Lex que tiene una pregunta. Go, hi Lex, how are you? ¿Cómo estás, amigo?
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
Bien.
Saludo a la comunidad. Me identifico como Lex y Tecmento, como desean. Estoy aquí con el Ryan, el gran dragón, como se refiere en Japón. Hello, Ryan. Hola, Ryan. ¿Cómo estás?
Man, I didn't know you could speak. Are you making fun of me right now?
He's not.
Todavía no. Todavía no. Hola. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay.
So I'm gonna try my best in my Spanglish, and then I'm coming right back to you.
Okay, great. This is interesting.
Yeah. Hola. Hola a la comunidad. Soy artista y también me encanta, o sea, manejar y trabajar con música. Y lo que me fascina de la comunidad TEA y Tezos en general es que no es solamente de arte, es igual como música. Y la comunidad no son solamente artistas, pero también músicos. Y a un tema que le voy a preguntar a él va a ser del teia.cafe. Si no saben, ahora saben, teia.cafe es un website a donde uno puede ir y es como una estación de música electrónica, música en general, pero a base muy electrónica. Pero igualmente es interesante porque Ryan, el gran dragón, hey Ryan, es también entrenado de muy joven como un músico tradicional, piano y cosas más análogo, pero aquí está manejando, administrando un website, una estación multiverso con música bien subterránea, experimentada y electrónica. Y eso es básicamente, también le voy a hacer una pregunta sobre eso. So, hey Ryan, how you doing?
Okay. Did you make fun of me in that?
At all.
I heard
so
some stuff. Yeah.
Right. So I was just letting them know, as they referred to you back in Japan as the great dragon, the giant, Ryan, right?
Oh my God.
Just a second. The space is getting wild. Please allow me as
I knew
your
this was going to
host.
happen too when he came up. Man.
Yeah.
Is he going to translate himself now? Or what?
Yes, allow me to put a little bit of order because there and this is a space that has an order because there's people listening and also it's recorded.
Yes.
So, Lex, since you speak both languages, I am going to invite you to, of course, you already did the question and translated, just so when Ryan answers you, please you translate. But let's just keep it like on the topic.
Yes.
This is for respect for the audience and the recording.
Yes.
In the end, we're going to make a lot of noise and fun. So, okay. Right, I know. Thank you, Ryan. Go ahead, please.
So, what is the question?
Right, so I was muted. Yeah. So what's going on is that I wanted to let the community know that it's not just about art, but it's also about music. And it's kind of covering, right. So I said, there's an actual, what fascinates me about just Tezos and teia and community is just there's a balance between electronic artists and electronic musicians as well, and just digital in general. And then coming from your background, which you are traditionally raised, or you were taught on more of an analog instruments, here you are administrating what I find to be a very like underground, very experimental teia.cafe, right? So if you could just like, summarize that, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I try to keep it short, but I am a musician myself. I don't think I mentioned that. I didn't really do an intro, but I come from a music background. I'm classically trained. I play the piano, and then I'm also a composer. But, it kind of ties into the whole reason why I'm crypto to begin with, because I'm interested in working with alternative models, right? And to me, you probably know that making a musician is making a living as a musician is very, very, very hard, and Spotify doesn't pay anything, and, like good luck on YouTube, and, so I feel like NFTs were kind of a place where I could see, hope, in the way, just getting artists paid, like being able to track what people are doing with your work is already like a big deal, and you can do that with the blockchain. You can kind of do that with other platforms, but they control everything, right? You're not in control of your own work. So the big, really part of this whole thing, why I'm even involved, is artists really trying to reclaim power over their own works, in a lot of ways. So that's the short answer.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate that. Bueno, a ver si me puedes recordar de todo. Lo que Ryan contestó fue que sí, él hacia de ser joven, tradicionalmente, él siempre fue con un instrumento en música más tradicional, pero él siempre él estaba, el interés con cosas alternativas, y con de las cosas alternativas ahí a donde llegó al cripto y cómo se puede conseguir, información alternativa, que es a base que puede producir positivamente para el artista. Entonces, eso es lo que lo llevó al cripto. So, cuando la idea de hacer como una estación, algo así, con el cripto, a donde pueden ganar los músicos, no solamente artista visual, pero también músico electrónico, él vio ahí una oportunidad para darle a esos músicos que puedan ganar dinero sobre el arte que están haciendo, y también la música. No sé si se me olvidó algo ahí.
Sí, me parece que está súper la traducción, y gracias Lex por preguntar, que justamente teníamos interés también en saber sobre teia.cafe. Pero vamos a invitar a Ryan a otro space a conversar. ¿Qué te parece, Lex, si de pronto nos juntamos todos y hacemos este space específicamente sobre lo que es teia.cafe, ¿no? Y a la par de escuchar algo de música, ¿no? De los artistas en Tezos, ¿no? Ryan, I thank you for your answer, and I'm also saying thank you to Lex for asking that. We
Thanks.
were curious about teia.cafe, but I am saying that it would be nice that in other opportunity that we gather together also with Lex and make a specific space about teia.cafe while we listen to some Tezos music art, right? What do you think about that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover, so I wasn't planning on talking about it today, but yeah.
We were ask you. So, gracias, Lex.
Sí, yo creo que es súper importante porque hay el balance que en muchas otras cadenas que son mucho más popular y que no tienen el balance. So I was just saying, Ryan, I think it's super important because there's such a great balance in the Tezos community of musicians as well as artists.
But it is a good example of like putting the blockchain to use, right? So
yes.
Yeah. So and I appreciate you bringing it up. Yeah.
Yeah, es un buen ejemplo. Ryan comenta que es un buen ejemplo de formas que existen para usar la blockchain, ¿no? Y agradece que lo haya traído a colación esto sobre teia.cafe. But I also want to ask you, like, if you could explain, like, I'm really interested, and I like this about teia. Is like, how do you say this? ¿Cómo se dice? Like, how much megabytes is that artists have to upload the art? This is very different than other platforms, and I think it's
okay.
You mentioned this.
Wow, people really like that, huh? That feature.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
I think
beat music, no? Before you answer, let me
okay.
tell the people what I'm asking.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. Bueno, yo tengo una pregunta para cerrar el tema sobre la plataforma de teia.art. Es que nos cuente un poco al respecto de estas características particular que tiene teia.art sobre por ejemplo, el peso, ¿no? Que a diferencia de otras plataformas, se permite subir archivos muy grandes, en lo particular como músico y para los que hacen 3D, videos, o sea, me parece súper importante. Go ahead, please.
Oh, what was I talking about again?
Oh,
sorry, I zoned out.
You are like me.
Well,
yeah.
Oh my god.
The megabyte.
Oh, megabyte. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's one of those things. Okay. Well, okay. So we have a 2 gigabyte upload limit on if you want to upload a NFT on Teia. I think most other places it's probably 100 megabytes at best, probably smaller, in most cases. So we have a very what's the word, open system, like because we are owned and run by artists, like we want to put the limitations we put on artists as much as possible. So it's
what does it take to allow that amount of space, weight? I don't know the proper.
I mean, it doesn't.
What's the difference?
Well, it's more a problem on the user's side, because for us, all we're doing is pinning an IPFS node, right? If you know what that is, but the problem, I mean, it's kind of at your own risk, right? Because if you're going to upload a 2 gigabyte file, one, it's going to take forever, right? Unless you have really good internet. The other part is you have to think about the user on the other side who's going to download that 2 gigabyte file, So you're asking the user to kind of make a big commitment to your artwork, right? In a way. Other platforms will say like, oh, let's not do that. But because we are here for the artists, maybe there's a good reason, right? Maybe there's a good reason why you want your file to be so huge. So we're giving that choice to the artists, right? And that's like a kind of good example of how we prioritize, the needs of the creatives first before, anyone else. So, it's not just that, but we have unusual file types. Like we support code-based art. If you go to the HTML SVG section, you'll see a lot of people posting art that's made out of code. Like that's not very normal, right? Like in a lot of places. We also do text mints. Oh, I forgot to mention, we also have a blogging system. So if you go on the site and then go to teia.art/text, we have a fully functioning blog that is also on the blockchain. So our definition of art is much more wide and encompassing, if you compared to a lot of other places. So yeah, size, style, medium, all those things. Like we are much more open.
Okay, great, wonderful. Esto es bien interesante, al menos para mí. Y sí, nunca lo había escuchado desde, o sea, así tan claramente, ¿no? Al respecto, yo le acoté a la pregunta de qué depende de que una plataforma ofrezca una cantidad de peso u otra. Entonces él comenta que en realidad esto no es tanto de parte de la plataforma, porque lo que se hace en realidad es piñar al IPFS, ¿no? Como muchas otras. Pero que es más que nada algo que tiene que ver con el usuario, con el artista, ¿no? Y en este caso, o sea, para algunos será muy complicado subir archivos muy grandes, ¿no? En tema de velocidad, ¿no? De la conectividad o de costos, ¿no? De la conectividad en sus localidades, ¿no? Y también, o sea, que sea pensado, digamos, o sea, lo que es para el otro lado, para quien colecciona, ¿no? Que también probablemente pueda tener esas dificultades o no, ¿no? Entonces, lo que Teia hace es simplemente dejarlo abierto, dejar la posibilidad abierta para que sea decisión del artista y del coleccionista. Perdón, ¿no? En un sentido de entender que precisamente, ¿no? O sea, como mencionábamos, hay muchos músicos, ¿no? Siempre, o la gente que hace video, esto siempre ha sido como una limitación, porque con el paso y esto es una opinión personal, ¿no? Con el paso del tiempo, eh, en muchos países, ¿no? En general, sabemos que hay lamentablemente algunos, sobre todo países latinoamericanos, también Irán, qué sé yo, que tienen muchas limitaciones, pero esas son cuestiones sociopolíticas, ¿no? Pero digamos que en el grueso del desarrollo, digamos, de los países y la tecnología, pues, o sea, las velocidades y las computadoras, los precios han bajado, han aumentado, ¿no? Las velocidades, los sistemas operativos, entonces nos permite, ¿no? Que sea más ágil todo esto, todo lo que es un upload, download, o sea, carga, descarga y lógicamente los artistas digitales que trabajamos con música, con video, vamos a elegir, pues, o sea, tener un refinamiento en nuestro trabajo y esto va a implicar mayor peso. Entonces, o sea, Teia está compuesto por muchos músicos y hacedores y es de interés, que esto sí lo menciona Ryan, que observaron que es de interés de los miembros integrantes de la comunidad, ¿no? Pero lo dejan ahí, digamos, a la libre elección. O sea, de la misma manera puedes, o sea, subir algo de 10 megas como algo de hasta 2 gigas, ¿no? Lo que Teia como comunidad prioriza siempre es la necesidad del creativo, ¿no? la plataforma es posible mintear textos, código, SVGs, y otras extensiones de archivos tradicionales, digamos, ¿no? JPG, PNG, etcétera. Y también cuenta en la esquinita superior izquierda, cuenta con el blog, ¿no? Para conversar, y que esto está on-chain. O sea que lo que se maneja es una definición amplia del minteo, ¿no? Considerando tamaño, estilo, los medios, etcétera. Sí, qué interesante todo lo que estamos aprendiendo el día de hoy, ¿no? ¿Qué te parece, Juni, Strokey? ¿Ah? Yeah, Ryan, great, wonderful.
I feel like you took some liberties with that one, but
I did.
yeah.
I did.
Okay, not just me. See, I'm getting better.
You are learning Spanish. You are learning Spanish. No. Yes, it's not fair not to tell you what I said is that I put myself as an example as a musician and digital artist who does also videos, but also I mentioned that we know in our community that some of our countries have difficulties, also, like, let's say Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, it's very difficult, but and it has to do like the decision of minting or
Right.
formatting in a larger file. It has to do with not only with the technological displays they have, like instruments, but also costs.
Yeah.
Connectivity, these things that has to do with some countries that have social, political, economic statements, yeah, we're not judging here, we're just mentioning these differences,
and that's kind of what we're here for, and I forgot to mention we also support like unusual formats like MIDI. If you're a musician, you should know what that is.
Really?
Yeah, it's very, but to the broader point is that teia is really what you want it to be, because if you have a lot of the things that we support came directly out of the feedback that artists gave to us. It was actually me that pushed for the MIDI thing, by the way. I'm like, why would a lot of people thought I was nuts, because I was like, why would anyone want a MIDI NFT, Ryan? I'm like, come on, let's just do it.
It's so important.
Yeah.
If you play a keyboard, of course I need it.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of musicians here. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know Fen does support you too.
Yeah. So, but it's not just us. Like if you have an idea or you want to see something happen to teia, you have that power. Like you can make a difference. And that's why this community is like so important to me, because it really the power of making decisions about how you want this community to go is actually in the artist's hands. And so, yeah.
Oh, great. Entonces, bueno, él comenta que también hay se puede subir archivos, o sea, raros como MIDI. Y bueno, dice que él, como músico, ha sido el que ha insistido en, en que eso exista. Yo le aplaudo. Los músicos le aplaudimos eso. Pero bueno, en sí, lo que es posible para cualquier miembro, o sea, perdón, es posible para cualquier miembro de la comunidad, o sea, lograr esto, acercarse y solicitar cambios, ¿no? Eh, y que necesarios para el desarrollo de su arte, ¿no? Y la comunidad existe para eso, ¿no? Para escuchar y para hacer lo que sus miembros esto necesiten. Ya, me estoy tastabillando. Regium, go ahead. Adelante, pregunte, caballero.
Hola. Sí, más bien quería hacer una extensión de la pregunta que hice hace un rato, que más bien apuntaba yo como al desafío en cuanto a mercado de criptoarte hacia el futuro. ¿Cómo lo ve nuestro invitado y cómo lo ven desde Teia, en el sentido de cómo lograr tal vez no afianzar una comunidad cerrada, ¿no? Que los artistas, solamente que los artistas interesados ingresen y se comuniquen, sino el gran desafío, aprovechando esta tecnología descentralizada, de seguir abriéndose hacia el mundo, ¿no? Que el arte sea, criptoarte tal vez tenga nuevos alcances, nuevas relacionados con gente que adopte quizás esta tecnología y se interese en el arte, ¿cierto? Porque nosotros hemos vivido, como el fin se dice mucho, ¿no? De una burbuja NFT que ha traído consecuencias, cambios para el mercado del criptoarte que conocimos desde el 2021 a la fecha. Y siento yo que hay desafíos para el futuro en ese sentido, ¿no? Entonces quisiera, claro, me imagino que nadie lo tiene resuelto, pero quisiera conocer en ese sentido la visión de él, de nuestro invitado, con respecto a esto que me parece un tema clave, ¿no? Que nuevos mercados, que nuevas alternativas de apertura pueden existir desde una plataforma tan interesante como esta.
Dame un segundito. Muchas gracias a Región por tu grandísima pregunta. Okay, Ryan. Región wants to like complement the conversation that we had before, his own question. I'm sure you're going to recap when I ask you. It's very interesting. This is why I love when Rahim does questions. Just a second, please.
Sounds like a very deep question.
It is kind of okay. He wants to ask. This is like the first part is for Teia community, and the end is for you. Okay, it's like what are look at the challenges for the future of crypto art. Not to solidify a close community of artists, but not thinking only about that, but to perhaps open it to the whole world, like people that aren't here, like how if you expect, or how would you approach and how would you encourage people to accept this, let's say, way of doing things? Let's say crypto NFT. Like he has a reflection. Like we kind of live in an NFT bubble that brought us benefits. Like a while ago, like let's say under the beginning, but there exist challenges for the future. Um, so he wants to know, what is Teia community vision about this? And what do you personally think about this? What is your personal opinion about this? Um, mm, what new markets and opening alternative could exist in Teia?
Okay. Wow, he just goes. Yeah, I like his questions because they're very direct.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
But
And
he gets straight to the point. All right.
I do. Oh, I did it good.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and actually, I can only really speak. They're actually just one question because I only can really speak on my behalf because I'm
On your
one.
behalf.
Yeah, because I'm one member out of a big thing, our team, right? But for the most part, we're kind of on the same page, so I don't have to split it up too much. But really, the biggest challenge, at least for me, is that we have all these systems, right? We have a way for artists to sort of vote, right? Vote for their interests. We have this open source mechanism that keeps everything running, right, in a decentralized way. The challenge really has been getting people to realize that, it's great that we're very autonomous, right? We're very free to do whatever we want in a lot of ways because there's no, right? We're not a startup. We don't have people telling us what to do right from the above. And, that's what makes decentralization great. But it does require a certain level of, what's the word? Initiative and like self-responsibility, right? Because now your future is in your hands, right? Like we have all the tools to help you gain independence. We have the tools to help you get paid, right? Like the copyright system is a good example of that. But because this is so new, it's going to take some time before people realize like, oh, wow, I have the ability to make my own career, right? And that really wasn't the way that it was done in the last couple of years, to be kind of frank, because there's a lot of people were expecting money to come from the top somewhere, right? Like either through a foundation or, maybe an airdrop, right? We even called it an airdrop. Like people were just waiting around for money to fall out of the sky, like quite literally. But in the future, we have to kind of more seriously look at like, okay, what is NFTs good for? How can we make utility? A lot of the features that we're working on right now really will make NFTs more useful. But it's kind of like because it's so new, people haven't quite figured out how to do all of those things yet. Actually, there's an account right here, secondary markets, right? That's where all the money is. Like secondary markets is where most of the money is, even in traditional art circles or the entertainment industries. That's where 80% plus, if not more. And so we've been in this bubble where we were just really like focused on buying and selling of the NFTs themselves, right? We didn't really build out the parts or like, well, now that the art is there, what are we going to use it for, right? And so that's where I at least for me, that's where I feel like the industry needs to go, and I'll be always pushing for that. But also at the same time, that's kind of where the challenges are. So I don't know if that answers his question, but
Sorry, great. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, Ryan. Aquí te va a y les va a todos. A ver cómo la hago. Está muy interesante. Bueno, en principio, voy a fingir que soy Ryan. ¿Ok? Él dice, en principio voy a hablar por mí, ¿no? Esto porque teia es manejado por varios, como ya se ha dicho, y las decisiones son conjuntas y cada miembro tiene su propia opinión. Sin embargo, están, ¿no? Más o menos en la misma línea, ¿no? Los grandes... what's the word? ¿Cómo se dice? Challenge. Oh my God, me he estancado en una sola palabrita.
Desafío, ¿no?
Desafío. Región, ven, traduce tú. Es desafío, exacto. Los grandes desafíos para mí, suponiendo que yo soy Ryan, ¿no? Es... tenemos todos estos sistemas en teia, ¿no? Existe la manera de votar comunitaria, existe el open source, que es descentralizado, ¿no? El gran desafío es que la gente, no hablando de los miembros de la comunidad, sino de la gente del exterior, ¿no? La que es ya miembro per se por mintear, digamos, el artista en la comunidad, pero también la gente que se acerca, que empieza a conocer, sepa y concientice de qué se trata esto, ¿no? Si bien nadie gozamos de libertad, ¿no? Y no es impositivo, nadie se le dice al otro qué hacer, pues esta libertad, digamos, o sea, colinda con la necesidad de que haya iniciativa y responsabilidad, ¿no? Como que el futuro está en las manos, ¿no? De quienes son miembros o se acerquen, ¿no? O sea, sean parte. Vamos a hablar de teia propiamente, ¿no? Estamos hablando de teia. Considera, Ryan, ¿no? Que esto va a llevar tiempo para que la gente comprenda también que, como lo ve él, hay una necesidad ya de desarrollar su propia carrera, ¿no? Que cada uno tome en sus manos una suerte de responsabilidad, que en los últimos años, ¿no? Ha habido una dinámica a través de muchas otras plataformas del general, ¿no? Donde lo que se ha esperado siempre es recibir dinero, ¿no? Entrar en la dinámica de la compra-venta, ¿no? O de todos, de constantemente recibir, ¿no? Todos los regalos, los airdrops, ¿no? Y entonces, o sea, considera que hay como un mal acostumbramiento, si se puede decir, ¿no? Y esa es una palabra mía, ¿ya? Hago un paréntesis para decir que esta es la palabra que yo encuentro para decir que es dejadez, ¿no? Como cuando consciente o inconscientemente te dejas de lado, o sea, que tú tienes que ser un hacedor, ¿no? De tu propia carrera. Eh, y concuerdo con él, ¿no? Como cierro paréntesis. Dinámica, ¿no? Del recibir es algo como que no ha permitido, en cierto modo, que se desarrolle más la conciencia y el tomar a cargo, digamos, o sea, el control, el rol de hacedor, ¿no? Considera que lo más importante en realidad del desarrollo y de la dinámica, digamos, del arte, o sea, de los NFTs, está en el mercado secundario, ¿no? Que es donde está el dinero. Menciona el 80% del grueso del movimiento de dinero. Bueno, y discúlpenme, me he enredado, pero ya, bueno, y que eso, que el challenge, o sea, el desafío está en traer un poco más a la gente a las iniciativas, ¿no? Y sacarla del foco de lo que es la compra-venta. Esto acoto yo, ¿no? O sea, con miras a desarrollar, o sea, a seguir desarrollando, ¿no? Pienso, acoto yo también, o sea, Ryan, do you mean like this is kind of a survival, a need for survival? Like if we do not conscious because the old system is not coming back or
It
something
ain't
like
coming
that.
back ever.
This is
I'm
what
gonna just be like it's not coming back ever. So we have to pivot to a new business model, or this industry is done. And I really believe that. I don't want to scare anybody, but yeah.
No, I get you. Sí, bueno, concuerda con lo que yo estoy acotando de manera, o sea, interpretativa, obviamente personal, en que tiene que haber un cambio. El modelo anterior no va a volver en definitiva, al su parecer, y para poder seguir adelante, ¿no? Tiene que haber esta conciencia y este cambio. ¿Respondí bien, Regio? ¿Entendiste?
Sí, sí. Dile que muchísimas gracias por su respuesta. Por favor.
Yeah, he says thank you very much. He got it.
Okay.
So I want to start we are in the final, let's say, part of our program interview.
Yes, I have to use the bathroom soon, so that's a good excuse. Wrap it up.
Yeah. So, but Junie has like a last question, and
sure.
This can be short. And yeah, Junie, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm learning so much. My note sheet is just filled, and I don't know how I'm going to organize this later, but
it's a lot. There's a lot going on.
That's a me problem. Right. Right.
But yeah, like you said, not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mi Retardito has done an amazing job with translating, honestly.
Yeah,
I know
no, this was great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's so difficult, so good job, girl. But anyway, so for my final question, can you tell us what are the main channels for engaging with the Teia community, and which platforms are the most important for staying connected?
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a good question, because there's been a lot of changes lately in how people have been approaching social media. So our main, the most reliable place to get in contact with Teia is in the Discord. So that should be in that thread somewhere that was posted below. And then the other place that we're most active on is actually Twitter Spaces. And Twitter Spaces specifically, because a lot of our members don't actually post that much. I do, and Malicious Sheep does, but most of the other members don't really engage much on Twitter, even though that's, kind of where all the crypto people are. So, but if you're here, me and Mal would probably be the best people to follow, because from there we can kind of show you wherever you need to go. But to be honest, we do need some help on the translation side, because we do have a few Spanish-speaking members, like I said, but they may not always be available. So it would be great if we just had more people around, So this conversation actually was a very good one, because it kind of made me, at least me, realize like, we need more. What's the word? We need to work on the bridges a little bit more, So this is kind of like our first, attempt at creating a bridge, but it kind of made me realize we have a lot of work to do as well.
Oh, okay. Sorry, just a second. I am going to bring up Junie that rocked.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, this site, man, and then so it's not just Let me continue actually, because it's not just it's not just us, okay, that's having trouble, and by us I mean the people here, people at Teia, even the people at Tezos, the people that working on with the foundation. They are worried that this site is going to not be here anymore. It's going to stop working, And so I've been seeing them reshuffle their social media things a little bit. Art on Tezos, if you're not aware of that group, they're the group that's run by Alexandra from Trilitech, and Vinciane from the foundation. If you're interested in doing Tezos art, it's another good place to go. But they started their social media on Discord. And
sorry, what name?
Art on Tezos. Do you know of that account?
Art. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're on Discord. But they told me straight up, like, I don't know about that whole Twitter thing, So just be ready for anything to happen. Yeah, it's great that we're speaking now, but it ties in, right? Like maybe we'll have to meet on Teia one of these days, because who knows? It's a very lots of things are changing.
Yeah. Ok. Entonces, preguntaba Junie, o sea, ¿en qué plataformas están? Bueno, hay está el Discord. Están básicamente aquí en Twitter. Síganlos, por favor, si pueden, si quieren. A Ryan, a Malicious Sheep, ellos conducen los spaces. Semanalmente tienen varios spaces donde van comentando sobre los avances, ¿no? Menciona Ryan que agradece este espacio y que está haciendo conciencia de que ellos mismos también tienen que empezar a estrechar más con las diferentes comunidades, refiriéndose, o sea, de habla internacional, ¿no? O sea, de diferentes idiomas. También esto comenta que, o sea, es un dato curioso sobre, por ejemplo, Teia, Art on Teia, on Tezos, perdón, que lo deben haber visto por ahí, que hacen actividades, que ellos no estaban en Twitter, cosa que yo no sabía y que me parece bien interesante. Es una comunidad que se ha gestado en Discord, ¿no? Con Tezos Artists y para Tezos Artists, pero se ha gestado en Discord. Muy, muy interesante saber eso. Y bueno, que posteriormente se han acercado a Twitter, perdón, a X, a esta cosa que todo el mundo presume que en algún momento va a desaparecer y nos van a mandar a volar. Y que nos tiene, pero En fin, 3 puntos. Muy interesante eso, ¿no? Saber que, o sea, toda una comunidad y que además es muy activa y que propone actividades, ¿no? Yo veo que tienen exposiciones, ¿no? Hay open calls, cosas que todo se ha dado a través solamente del Discord. Bien, cool. Bueno, ¿se me fue algo más, chicas? ¿Me ayudan? No, estaba media distraída porque Yuni se cayó. Pero bueno, síganlo. ¿Cómo?
Sí, me disculpo por eso. Sí dijo algo al final, que es la parte en donde yo entré. Sí había mencionado algo además del Discord y del X, ¿no? Que ahora le voy a preguntar. Ryan, you mentioned right after I rugged, I did come in during the point where you were talking about besides X and Discord, you mentioned something, another way of being connected. Can you remind us again?
I guess you're talking about the art on Tezos, maybe, but that's more what's going on with the Tezos ecosystem as a whole. But so that's.
Are you part of art on Tezos, Ryan? Sorry to interrupt you.
We are right now. There's 3 main things happening on Tezos art NFTs, I would say. So one of them is Object, of course. The other one is us, Teia. But there's another initiative called Art on Tezos, if you weren't aware, that is being run by Trilitech and Foundation. I'm not sure, what the details are, but they're doing activities between both Object and Teia. So they're trying to be a kind of a, I think their mission is really just like promote art on Tezos, regardless of, who it is.
Okay.
So that's a good place to also stay in contact, if you're interested in working in this space. So, yeah, that's about it.
Sí, sí, bueno, al respecto de Art en Tezos, que están generando muchas actividades, o sea, de promoción al arte. Ryan, I know you have to go, but briefly, and I want to mention this because I know you're going to start talking about this on Spaces, so I want to invite people to follow you, to follow the conversation. Something that is Tezcons.
Oh, right. Oh, my God. How do I say that really quick?
Oh, my God.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it short because I really got to go.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
Okay, well, okay, before we go, tell everyone to follow Malicious Sheep because her spaces that's the best place to get to know what's happening here. So, like she puts on the best Twitter spaces on Tezos.
Yeah, but briefly, what is Tezcon?
But, okay, yeah, Tezcon.
What is...
I live in Seattle, Washington, in the United States. So we are putting on a Tezos, I guess it's a convention, but we don't really call it that, It's just Tezcon. And we're going to be showcasing art from both local acts and as well as acts from Tezos. So you can check my profile for more details, but we will also be showcasing the voices of Iran from Erica's project I just mentioned a little while ago, the one from, yeah. So that's going to happen July 11th, 2026. If you happen to be in the area, we'll love to have you. And if you want to do something, let us know because we have an open form for people who want to participate as well. So, yeah, there you go. Short, straight to the point.
I have ideas.
Yeah. Oh no.
Bueno. Oh no. Tezcon es un evento. Ryan vive en Seattle junto o cerca a otros artistas y músicos. Yo conozco familia de músicos de Tezos. Para quienes saben lo que es Tezos, está Fendo, también por ahí cerca anda Beth the Wheel y otras personas. Y bueno, Tezcon es una especie de, no le gusta llamarlo convención, pero es una reunión, digamos, de artistas de Tezos que se da en un periodo de varios días, ¿no? Donde hay actividades, donde se habla de Tezos, donde se hacen exposiciones de arte, ¿no? Entonces, por favor, sigan a Malicious Ship y obviamente Ryan, si es que quieren estar al tanto de esto se está gestionando ahorita, es tercer año. Si es que alguien pudiera asistir esto personalmente, o sea, ir hasta Seattle, yo quiero mi ticket, pero cuesta mucho. Esto, siempre son bienvenidos, ahí los reciben, les hacen hacer camping en el patio, en el grass. Esto, no, es muy lindo. Tienen que seguir ese evento porque además es algo que se está gestando cada año un poquito más, un poquito más. Tienen algún financiamiento, o sea, apoyo también para las actividades. Y hay hay un formulario por ahí donde vas a poder también postular a participar, porque puedes participar esto con tu obra o con alguna propuesta de algo que se quiera hacer. Entonces, ese es otra oportunidad, otra open call, digamos, ¿no? Otra oportunidad más que está por ahí circulando y nada. Y Ryan tiene que ir al baño. Así que, Ryan, thank you so much.
Oh
This
no,
has
thank
been
you for
amazing.
everything. You definitely added some stuff in there, I can tell. But
I did. I said,
but no,
bravo.
it sounded like lots of good stuff, so it's okay. But
Yeah, no, I added that this is the third year.
the third year, yeah. Okay, well, thanks
Yeah,
for
that
filling it out, yeah, for me.
yeah,
But
that
this
I
was a lot
know
of fun, yeah, and thank
my
you.
friend Testones are
Yeah, Tez Tones.
there. That I missed my play.
Did you meet
Go.
camping? Did you say camping? So
Yeah.
okay,
I
yeah.
said that if you go, you can camp there.
They're
You
camping
can
in Fendo's backyard, yeah.
just say in Fendel's backyard. You said it.
Yeah.
You said it. I
Yeah. So
I didn't say
I'm hoping it'll be a fun time this year too. But
yeah,
so if you
I
happen
said
to
it's
be
so
in the area,
fun. Yeah, I said it is like not one day, but it's some days that are different
yeah,
events.
it's gonna be a
About
several day event, and
about art, music, and yes, I really want to go one day. And I'm trying to I'm encouraging Junie and Strokey to go this year. Yes, I'm telling them go, please go.
Oh,
Yes.
well, more than happy to have you, and you can stay in.
Yeah.
I think Fendo might let you use his room. You know, you can stay indoors. You know,
Yeah, like the first year.
for the ladies. You know,
I was fighting for that room the first year.
No, but he's such a great host. You know, he's such a very generous, gracious person. So. Yeah, you know, but it is kind of a hard time for a lot of people, so I understand. But
yes,
you know, we're doing the best that we can, and it'd be great if anyone wants to show up, you know, and
yeah,
we'll make it work.
Thank you so much.
There will be we're gonna take applications for people online things. So
yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, great. Oh man, you did my work for me.
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, thank you. Wow.
Aren't you? Wait, just kidding. Yes,
you guys are great.
Yeah, but thank you so much. Has been amazing. We've learned a lot. We had a great time. We are all into coming near Teia, of course, Tezos. And yeah, let's see what happens.
Yep. And if you have any questions, anytime. Yeah, I'm happy to do the spaces like this again anytime. And so just let me know.
Yeah. I for sure we are going to. We always continue chatting about things all the time. We support each other in our Latin communities very much. Also, many people has left, but then they come back.
They're coming back. We can bring them back.
Yeah, well, some come and go. It's hard to leave. Yeah, but
we're gonna make it fun again.
Are a very supportive community, and we always try to do this. If somebody speaks English or other language or Japanese, whatever, we try to support each other for nobody to be left aside in with information. So, and all of these are great news.
Yeah.
And I said in the beginning, we almost all of us started on Hikanunt.
Yep.
So it's kind of like always coming back home,
Yep.
Yeah.
I can totally get it.
Yeah. Yes. So, Unistroke, please, how did you feel? Are you not nervous anymore? You want to say something before we wrap up?
No, never was nervous. Ryan's a cool guy, and I'm definitely looking forward to my next mint being on Teia. And thank you, Ryan, for allowing us to torture you for a little bit.
Nah, it was great. Do it some more. No, thank you.
I loved meeting you, and you just mentioned her name, Malicious.
Yeah,
right?
Malicious.
So I love that. I'm happy to be speaking to you again, and I love that since that space I heard you guys intent on including the communities that don't speak English, and I think
we're trying. It's hard, but we're trying. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I think that we could use more of these spaces, right? Like let's not make this like a one-time thing.
Okay, no, I agree completely. And if anyone wants to be a core member to manage all the proposals, offer is there.
We'll be in touch. We'll talk some more. Thank you so much for coming.
At least I want to know about it.
Let's talk later. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Entonces, muchas gracias a todos, amigos. Nos hemos dado acá la licencia de hablar un poquito más en inglés, de permitirle a Ryan que nos despidamos de él. Muchísimas gracias a Regin por tu tremenda participación, también a Alex por subir. Íbamos a extender micrófonos, pero bueno, ya esto ha sido bastante largo y muy, realmente ya no sé, no tengo palabras. Ha sido exquisito estar aquí escuchando tanta información que al fin y al cabo es importante, muy valiosa para nosotros. O sea, comentaba que desde el principio que muchos de la familia latinoamericana hemos empezado en Hikanunt, en Tezos. Esto es para muchos nuestra primera casa y la casa donde siempre podemos volver. Entonces, muchas gracias. El space queda grabado. Si alguien por ahí dice, me lo perdí, entonces ustedes dicen, pero está grabado. Y nada, nos vamos con musiquita Stroke, a ver si funciona esta vez, porque mira, quisimos compartir la música de Ernesto Cisneros, que está así todo hype, todo este es mi disco, wow. Y además está súper la música. Y este bendito ex nos rubió, nos fregó la música, son un desastre. La gente va a pensar que, oh my God, esto compone este señor. No, 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 Ernesto, no, tú compones de maravilla, solamente que ex es un truán. Así que vamos a ver si funciona. Si suena mal, lo sentimos mucho, Ernestito querido, pero hicimos el intento. Pero está cool la música. Vayan, escúchenlo, por favor. Por ahí está rotando la página con. Es todo un álbum. Es todo un álbum. Mil gracias, Ryan, nuevamente. Gracias a todos ustedes. Gracias, mis amadas, queridas compañeras y amigas. Stroke, Juni, las adoro. Besos y abrazos y tengan buen fin de semana. Bye bye. Los dejo con la musiquita, la pieza número 3, Strokey, ¿eh? La que me gusta.
I really gotta go to the bathroom. That was nice. That was nice. All right, I am done. I need to pee. Been drinking this thing all time. All of that is in my body, so